the country, some are still celebrating, some are crying, but in general, yesterday the PLE results were released. Over 600,000 students. Results of over 600,000 students. The details will be shared as and when and along as we move. But welcome to the show once again. I do have Uncle Bob on set for the Friday name, and I also do have Olive Monica Najuma on set. And like I said, in the field in Ginger City, we have Jerome Paul Sonko that is going to be giving us updates. But let's first check in on the team in here, see how their Friday is doing, how they're geared up. They are ready for Friday, I can assure you, especially Olive Monica Najuma. Good morning, Olive.
Good morning, Chantal. How are you this morning?
I'm okay. I don't want to describe to the viewer how you're dressed because
well, keep that secret. Oh no, don't do it. You know, Chirabo almost sang for Miss Cinderella. Do you know that song? See, Cinderella. Well, it is a beautiful morning. Thank you so much for being with us this Friday. It is a chilly morning once again. And of course, the week is coming to an end. So if your week starts on Monday if your week starts on Monday and ends on Friday, we are happy to give you, to add the riz, to add flavor to your Friday as you start it, and of course usher you into the beautiful weekend. And of course we don't take it for granted that you're always here with us. Now, for the parents and the pupils for whom the results came back yesterday, that is primary leaving examination results that were released yesterday by the Uganda National Examinations Board. I know a few friends whose children got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and some of the children are unhappy as we speak because one of them got 8. But to any child watching right now and any parent who is feeling disappointed that your child did not get 4 aggregates, let's face it, 8 is still a first grade, 7 is still a first grade, 6 is still a first grade, even 12 is still a first grade. So what am I saying? Let's celebrate the fact that they did not fail, because as you are complaining about the 8, there is a child out there that actually did not get a 4 or a 15. They failed. Their future is bleak as we speak. Now, I'm not condoning laxity and complacence when it comes to school, but at the same time, it is P7. There is senior 4, and they might surprise you with better performance. So, congratulations to those who got 4, and congratulations to everyone else that passed. It is not easy sitting national exams.
Great, and I still encourage the parents of each and every child out there. Encourage these children. You don't even know why. So have a conversation with your child. Find out what could have been the problem that made them fail to get to attain the results they hoped for, or that you hoped for as a parent. Uncle Bob, good morning.
A lovely morning to you, but guys,
I like your shoes.
Hey,
I like that outfit.
but I have a problem. I've scratched my head since last night, and I'm trying to recall something, but unfortunately I can't recall anything. You know why?
Why?
Because I wasn't there. Building a Uganda that everyone cherishes is the theme for this year's 38th NRM anniversary.
Right.
But I was trying to look for warm memories, or could I have seen anything? Then I noticed, apart from books and what I'm told by my parents, by other people, by people we host here,
by the president during
yes, by the
addresses.
president, I typically have nothing of that history, that rich, sad history. I don't have anything about it.
There is a reason it's called history. You were not there, but you know it.
Because these stories, one time my mother told me a story that when you're getting home, it's a slope. That my dad was on the main road. And by then, fences were not a thing like today. That when you build, you must put a fence. No. People would have...
Those are actually for mean people.
Mean people. People would just have simple fences, around. So my dad and the neighbor were on the main roads telling some stories. I think they are, men, Kurikayo, and that on the road. So my mother was in the compound, I think, weaving. And the neighbor's wife was also in the compound. Now, my father saw this truck of soldiers come. My mother tells me that he cruised and passed my mom. into the forest because at the end there was a forest. And the neighbor also cruised. So the women just saw, past his wife, just saw their husbands taking off abasajja babo into the forest. So I'm like, how would you pass my mother? Said Robert, those days it wasn't about your mother. Because those people would kill you and no one...
And they would come for the heads of the family.
And no one would be bothered.
Yes.
So, I can't say I missed. But unfortunately, I never witnessed that, and so are many Ugandans now. Yes, actually, the biggest population of Ugandans
right now
have nothing to tell apart from what is being told.
And you know, Chirabo, that's where the problem comes in, because some of us, like even I never saw those times. And then it gets worse. At least me, I had first-hand information from my parents who were there. But now, my children hear third-hand stories that I also had from someone else, okay? So it stops making sense to them. And that's why sometimes when we have all these riots and these calls for change, sometimes the adults are like, but do you know what you're asking for? Do you know where we came from? But then the young generation doesn't care, because now they are getting fourth-hand, third-hand information from the people that were there. So I see where the problem is coming from.
I tried until I said, it's okay, Robert, there are things that you aren't there, at least you have stories. Now, that is the reason why we should celebrate today.
Yes.
Every Ugandan. That you're born at a time the NRA government has ensured that you don't have such things. Today you can put on your expensive watch, you can have these lovely cars, you can have the money, you know. I was told where they looked at a roadblock, today we don't have them.
No.
They saw a pregnant woman and they wanted to find out what is in the stomach.
Oh my God.
And they dissected the lady.
Oh my God.
Now, why not celebrate
38
years of peace and
tranquility.
Security.
Yes.
Kampala tuchakale chiro.
Nice
life. Her parents will tell you.
Nice life is so vibrant.
How would you go to a bar,
a tourism attraction.
bucket night, and you buy 3 buckets and you walk home safely? Anyway, good morning.
Well, that is it for the conversation right now, but we're going to be diving into the local stories, trying to find out what is happening internally, and later we'll take a look at the international stories, cross over to the press review before we get into the greater conversations that we always have every single Friday. So stick around, the local story is up next.
Let me begin with bad news.
Why?
Hey, you know, PLE is a time to prove what you sow is what you harvest. Now, the 2023 primary living examinations, PLE, results were unveiled, revealing a significant number of candidates failing below the pass mark threshold, thus qualifying them for obtaining the primary living examination certificate. During the results announcement at State House in Nakasero, the Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, emphasized the importance of head teachers and classroom teachers conducting thorough continuous assessment. She stressed that promoting learners to the next level without demonstrating minimum knowledge and skills from the previous class is detrimental to their academic progress.
And in related news, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Right Honorable Robina Nabanja, has cautioned headmasters in government-aided schools that they will be held responsible if ghost teachers are discovered in their schools. Nabanja made the remarks while making a presentation to 413 headmasters from Greater Western Uganda who are undergoing patriotism and ideological training at the National Leadership Training Institute in Chankwanzi.
And moving on, the Parliament is yet to consider the National Budget Framework Paper for the financial year 2024-2025 to 2028-2029. A debate to consider the motion as rose by the Minister of State for Finance in charge of general duties, Henry Musasizi, was pushed to Tuesday next week. This follows a timeline which ends on the 1st of February this very year. Adopting the National Budget Framework Paper is a requirement of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 and Rules of Procedure of Parliament. Minister Musasizi shared the prospects of the budget, including key priority areas of peace and security, investing in the population, among others.
Away from that, the State Minister for Internal Affairs, General David Muhoozi, has commended Uganda Police for the professional upgrade program of the force. General Muhoozi was officiating at the pass-out of 45 participants from the Intermediate Command and Staff course at the Police Senior Command and Staff College in Webaja. The pass-out ceremony has seen 45 senior superintendents and superintendents of police graduating with certificates in Intermediate Command and Staff Certificate and Advanced Certificate in Peace Building, Human Security and Conflict Transformation. These upgrade programs in the force intend to equip officers with modern policing techniques in the dynamic and contemporary crime environment. The passed-out senior officers are cautioned to uphold core values and principles of human rights, to be exemplary to the people they superintend. These 45 senior officers have undergone an intense training of 18 weeks at Police Senior Command and Staff College in Webaja.
Well, that's it for the local news stories. Thank you, Robert and Olive. We cross over and check what is happening on the international scene. And for start, we go to the U.S. The Supreme Court has refused to grant a last-minute reprieve to an Alabama death row inmate facing the first ever U.S. execution by nitrogen inhalation. The justices have twice declined, along with the Federal Appeals Court, to block what Kenneth Eugene, Smith's lawyer, called a cruel and unusual punishment. Opponents say using nitrogen gas could cause unnecessary suffering and the leak could harm people present in the room. Smith, 58, was convicted in 1989 of murdering Elizabeth Sene. Alabama's death warrant expires early on Friday morning. Smith, who has been on death row since 1996, told the BBC earlier this week that the wait felt like torture. He will be the first person to be put to death by this method in the U.S. and, according to the Death Penalty Information Center, anywhere in the world. Moving on, Amy and Anno are identical twins, but just after they were born, they were taken from their mother and sold to separate families. Years later, they discovered each other by chance thanks to a TV talent show and a TikTok video. As they delved into their past, they realized they were among thousands of babies in Georgia who was stolen from hospitals and sold, some as recently as 2005, and now they want answers. Amy is pacing up and down in a hotel room in Leipzig. "I am scared, really scared," she says, fidgeting nervously. "I haven't slept all week. This is my chance to finally get some answers about what happened to us." Her twin sister Anno sits in an armchair watching TikTok videos on her phone. "This is the woman that could have sold us," she says, rolling the eyes. Anno admits she is nervous too, but only because she doesn't know how she will react and if she will be able to control her anger. In the end of the long journey, they have traveled from Georgia to Germany in the hope of finding the missing piece of the puzzle. They are finally meeting their birth mother. Coming back to Africa, the remains of more than 100,000 genocide victims have been unearthed across Rwanda in the past 5 years. With shovels and gardening hoes, villagers stood this January digging where a house once stood in Rwanda to reveal a mass grave filled with bones, victims of the genocide still being found 30 years on. Around 100 volunteers, many wearing face masks and rubber gloves, turn over the red soil in Goma village in the country's south with a somber determination as a crowd watches on from a slope above. Skulls, teeth and other shards of bone are placed carefully into plastic bags, while shoes and tattered clothing, possible clues to identify loved ones never found, are collected elsewhere. The remains of 119 people had been unearthed over 3 years, said Naphtali Ahishachie, president of the Genocide Survivors Group in Ibuka. Andre Kamana, deputy mayor of the wider Huye district in the country's south, says there was no telling how many more might be found. Now, speaking matters climate, with less than a fortnight to go before the European Commission floats a potentially radical new greenhouse gas reduction target, an alliance of business leaders, local governments, and climate campaigners has called on the EU to follow the advice of its own scientists. Businesses, climate campaigners, and local governments have urged the European Commission to propose greenhouse gas output be slashed a tenth of 1990 levels, while a leaked impact assessment suggests this is just one scenario the European Union executive is considering as it plans an interim target on the way to net zero by mid-century. Under the European climate law adopted in 2021, the European Union is committed to becoming climate neutral by 2050, meaning any remaining carbon dioxide emissions are balanced by removals either by natural carbon sinks or through technological fixes. The target for 2030 is 55%, and the Commission is due to suggest next month a suitable interim goal for 2040. Now that marks the end of our local and international news stories. We cross over to what is happening in the dailies this morning.
Well, we'll begin with the new vision. It's all PLE results. We have top schools in your district, PLE stars per school, district rankings. Now they give you pictures of the best students, the best pupils, as according to what the new vision was able to capture. And then on the NRM day, President warns economic saboteurs, 120 pages of NRM special. But also, they give you more of how certain schools outshined others. Now, MPs query Prime Minister over Otafire. What are they talking about? Well, the new vision has details. Now, let's move to the Daily Monitor. Foot and mouth disease spread to 32 districts. MPs are asking why. Then, best of PLE, they're giving you schools, pupils there. And also, we have more jobs. The Daily Monitor has jobs for you. And the scoop, looking at the scoop, what is there today? Well, the scoop, Bini Ganta arrested in Abu Dhabi. Well, that is what the local dailies have this morning.
To the other countries in East Africa, we will start with a Daily Nation from Kenya, and it is saying who is fooling whom. That's a big headline right there. Kenya Kwanza leaders are touring Meru as infighting rages. And moving on, governors, MCAs are splashed on extra 13 billion shillings on luxuries. More about that story in the Kenyan Daily Nation. Judges vow to resist attacks by ruling party. And tragedy, man recounts the horror of watching his daughter and granddaughter die in a house fire. More about that story in the Daily Nation. And in the crime section, gunmen kill Laikipia rancher. And in sport, knockout stage of Africa Cup of Nations beckons as giant killers look to extend run. And that's it that you'll find in the Daily Nation as of this morning. Now, crossing over to Tanzania, in the Citizen, tariff offer delays could hit AfCFTA rollout. And Samia's goal of attracting $1 billion Indonesia investment. What's about that story? You will find out in the Citizen. And moving on, experts explain higher science pass rates in 2023 Form 4 exam. More on that in the Citizen. And lastly, government eyes green bonds after positive market response. You will find this and more in the Citizen from Tanzania.
Great. Thank you so much, Olive and Robert, for the press review. Now we're going to go for a very short break, and the inspiration song we are leaving you with is Strength of a Woman by Shaggy. Do note we'll be right back with Zamani Foundation. Great discussions ahead. We're looking forward to you being a part of this conversation. Let's take a break.
Morning Uganda.
This one goes out to all my women, you know, my strong women. So amazing how this world was made. I wonder if God is a woman. The gift of life astounds me to this day. I give it up for the woman. She's the constant wind that fills my sail. Oh, that woman. With a smile and a star, she'll protect you like a child. That's a woman. She'll put a smile upon her face and take you to the higher place. So don't you underestimate strength of a woman. Strength of a woman. Woke up this morning, I got up with a scent of a woman. Just picture if you would what life would be. Ain't much good without a woman. She can nag and be a constant pain. Oh, that woman. Those hips, she's got me whipped, and it's just too hard to resist. What a woman. Hey, she'll put a smile upon her face and take you to a higher place. So don't you underestimate the strength of a woman. Of a woman. Tender lips that so sweet, gentle words she softly speaks. Such an angel when we meet. God bless the ground beneath her feet. She can take you on a high, be a comfort when you cry. But if you look into her eyes, you'll see the strength of a woman.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial *165*3# or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Well, welcome everyone to the biggest game on the continent.
And you have to. You've got to just seize those moments and enjoy them as much as you possibly can.
The National Liberation Day, held on the 26th of January every year, marks the overthrow of the previous government by the National Resistance Movement /Army in 1986. The theme for the 38th NRA Victory Day anniversary celebrations is Building a Country We All Cherish. On Friday the 26th of January 2024, all roads will lead to St. John's Secondary School Wachitaka in Jinja City, Church of Uganda grounds for the anniversary celebrations. Don't miss the celebrations live on UBC. Junko, yo, Wachiko, check the shopping man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portal project, and now things are moving.
Junko, I thought I was one of your friends.
You are,
but you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Mukoke Fish Farmers Association tuli balunzi ba byananda ebyebika ebisatu omuli Miracap, tilapia oba engege ni catfish twete male. Group eno twatandika twali abantu basatu nga tulingirira obwetaavu obwebyenanda obw'obwivwa eno okubona nti tufuna okasente akava mu maadi agali gatambula butambule nga gatubita ku wano ng'ekirabo. Twatandika ni fish pond ndala mu mwaka gw'e2018. Twebaza fisheries officer ni district ya Bugiri babanga tulagirira kusani fish farm ebuyikwe inside day twabanga tusobola okufuna kwetusaako obugege obwasooka era mu mwaka ogwali 2020 awo basobola okubanga batuwaayo ebyenanda emitwalo $40 okuva mu operation Wellness Creation era okubayongerezaako emmere yatuweebwa okuva Uganda Poultry Breeders. Twasobola okubanga tusoloza akasente akawerera obukayire nga 42. Twasobola okubanga tubuinvestinga oba okubona nti twongerezaako ku bimu ku bintu bye tukola bano bebaza gavumenti yaife okubanga buli saawa efaayo okubanga efeeri y'Abannayuganda.
studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning once again. Thank you for joining us. Just to remind you, it is a Friday. It is the 26th of January. I don't know why the word November almost runs out of my mouth every time I say 26. Welcome to the show once again. My name is Chantal Olive Akandinda, and this Friday morning, while we are celebrating Liberation Day, we are also on our way to, we are closing into the burial of the former Member of Parliament, Dokolo, that is the late now Cecilia Ogwal, and today the body, I think the body is already there. Today there's going to be a church service that is in Alito, and of course viewing of the body as we wait for the burial, which will be taking place tomorrow. We continue to say may her soul rest in peace, and condolences to the family and friends of the late. And just a word of encouragement to whoever has been touched by the late. Please make sure that the print she left on you lives on. That is the best thing you can do for her. The impact she left should not die with her. This morning as well, we are going to be having a very important conversation on especially parenting, but we're going to be centering the conversation on the boy child. Now, we do have Spencer Kansime, and he's the team leader of Zamani Inspire Foundation, but also I do have Robert, Uncle Bob, yes, Robert Chiravonyenyi on set. I do have Olive Monica Najuma as well to be part of the conversation as we discuss. And the fortunate bit is I don't know about Spencer. I'll be finding out in a few if he has a son, but I know that the two do have sons, and I'm anticipating one as well.
Oh, wow.
So definitely this conversation is very, very important, as we have seen very many reports of the boy child being neglected. You've seen information on social media how I think I watched a video sometime where a lady told a fellow lady, "Did you raise me a husband?" And it wasn't a matter of having produced a child and put a boy in and put him on earth. It was a point of how did you raise your son? Can he how can I call it? Can he measure up to the grooming that I have had as a girl? And this is the conversation we are going to be having this morning. I think let me start with the guest. Yeah, when guests arrive in the house, the rest of the members smile and we greet the guests.
And we are still smiling.
They are still smiling. Good morning, Spencer.
Good morning.
How are you feeling this Friday?
I feel good. I feel to be here. I feel good to be here. Good morning, Uganda. And I'm glad that we are discussing this, because what happens is initially there were so many conversations treating around the girl child.
Yes.
How to uplift the girl child, and I think we've done that.
To a bigger percentage.
So it is time now for us to focus on the boy child.
Right. Before we focus on the boy child, I would like to know briefly about the Zamani Foundation, and then we can dive into the conversation.
Okay. Thank you so much. I happen to have one foundation. It's called Zamani Inspire Foundation. Basically, we deal with young people. We deal with young people. We support them in school. We support them. We groom them to be leaders. Right. And what is different about our foundation is that we focus on 50-50. We support young boys and the girls. So we do 50% and 50%. So, and we support the community in Kamungu, that is where it is located. We have been able to impact so many.
Right. Yes. Great. And why did you decide to do a 50-50?
Because initially I've had interactions with so many people that are doing 70 to 30%.
The 70 being for the girl, for the boy?
Yes, for the girls, and then 30% for the boys. But then we realized the boy child is being left out. Right. Initially, we had programs that were supporting entirely the girls, and then I'm glad that my community came out and they were like, no, we need to empower these young boys. Because eventually we're going to have a situation where we've empowered so many girls, and then the boys are left out, and then the boys are not confident. That's why these days you'll see women taking on in families, they are leading, and then you're having irresponsible young men.
Young men,
yes.
Right. Yeah. Great. Well, as of yesterday when the PLE results came out, the minister and also the first lady of Uganda, that is Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni. She said she observed that there was a concerning trend of boys not being able to reach the point where they even sit PLE now. Please note, this is the lowest in the whole of education, the lowest certificate or the lowest level of education that we are talking about, that is P7, PLE. And she notes that very many boys drop out, very many boys do not get to the point, and it's a concern. And that is why I would like to go to my extreme left and talk to, can I call him Daddy? Talk to Uncle Bob, and I would like to find out from you, Robert, what in your opinion could be the reasons as to why we are having this conversation, why we have the concerns about parenting for the boy child.
Now, thank you so much. Actually, I need someone, if you have spec there, please send them to me. I don't want to be the old man here because it's in the entire set. All are wearing specs. But away from that light joke, now, previously, it was let's empower the girl child. And that was the main focus because of various levels of vulnerability. Now, we had a time in this country where they would say, let's empower the boy child because he's going to be a family head. He'll have to fend for his family. Now, things changed when they noticed that as we empower the boy child and leave the girl child behind, there is a problem. Now what is happening? They are saying, because if a girl doesn't go to school, previously they will say she's just going to get married. And I'll say this in Uganda because that's how it was common. So there is still, she's going to be married and they are going to look after her. But the boy is going to look after this daughter. So invest more in the boy. Now, time changed and they noticed that first and foremost, now, very few marriages are happening. Even on this weekend. Today you'll find that there's a huge chunk of single mothers, a huge chunk of independent women who have not gotten married, may have children, and they're hustling it out. Now they will tell you, that if you don't pay school fees, if you don't educate a girl child, she's going to suffer. Every man wants an empowered woman. And let me tell you, a woman who is not educated, there's a trickle-down effect that she's likely also her children not to be educated. There's a likelihood that the quality of husband she may get. Because today the world has changed. Men are not only after big butts and beauty. Men also now are calculative. We have this young generation. They want women that have. They want women that they are going to do cost sharing and doing life together, not dependence. So now the world has woken up to say, let's educate the girl child. If you don't educate her, she's going to conceive. Remember COVID-19. When girls weren't in school, it was as if the virus impregnates women. Impregnates girls. You'd look at a village and you'd think maybe they have got COVID pregnancies. But because they're out of school and so now they notice that school is the safest way to keep a girl safe. A defiler is very easy to defile a girl who is out of school than a girl who is in school. Now, as they were doing that, now there is a saying, they believe that the boy is strong. The boy, you find a family, the girls are going to school. In the evening, the boys are all over selling eggs and maize. I think you see these things. Even at night. Because they believe now the boy is safe. Who's going to rape this boy? He will go pass through the ghettos, pass through the streets, sell maize and come back home. Now in that, we are creating that gap. That the girls are now vulnerable. We must educate them. We must prioritize them because no man is going to go for just mere beauty. So that is the challenge, and that's why we have gotten into that more boys are dropping out and the girls are still in school because a father knows my daughter, if she doesn't go to school, her future is doomed. But the boy, he will hustle, he will make it. Man will tell you, Mama, can you come? This guy go to school? But the sisters are married to, but when he looks and sees the sisters, they are married to funny men, they are being beaten, they are having children day and night because they can't decide, they are living bad situations. Yet the brothers are fairly doing well.
Great. Well, if I may, from what I've picked from Robert's delivery, we have an issue with our mindset and attitude towards what a girl can be and what a boy can be, and that has caused a lot of disruptions, especially in even parenting, but even also in the way we view the different gender. To you, Olive, why do we have concerns over the boy child? Yet, growing up, if you remember very well, growing up at some point, the boys were the strong ones. They always had it together. Their problems were apparently not too many, yet the girls were the vulnerable ones. She has to be protected all the time. And all this, you have to be groomed a certain way. And for a long time, we thought the boys were actually okay, right?
Yes.
We believed that the boy grows and there is a standard put for him and that's all and that's it. And then now the girl goes through these transitions. But now it seems to be causing us problems. But where is the concern?
I think this all started with how our society was formed from way back. Because right now we are looking at what is happening right now. But where the problem came in is that we come, as in, I think the whole world, only that things have changed now, but the world was highly patriarchal in the beginning. It was always men versus women. Actually, it was not even versing. It was men having the power, having the access to different things, and women left behind. Now, because we already had that disproportionate, we were disproportionately weighing on the scale already, men being high, women being lower. When we started having all these concerted efforts to make women get to the same standing as men, the men were, if the man had walked 100 miles, he stayed at 100 miles. And then we started pulling up the women or the girl child to reach the man at 100 miles. Unfortunately, a lot has, unfortunately or even fortunately, depending on the side of the spectrum you're standing at, women, we've done so much over the years. Now we have gone beyond the 100. And the man, because, and I'm not even trying to even be callous, but because the man in his head thinks he's so better than the woman, he forgot to move again. So we went past. Now we have reached a point where we have women in the driving seat and the men are now playing catch up. And because of that, this is affecting now the children we have today. Okay, I am raising daughters and I'm raising a son, and when I'm trying to bring them on the same weighing scale, okay, but at the same time you're going to find that in as much as the UN Declaration on Human Rights says that all people are equal, in 1995 in Beijing, they had an emphasis on privileges towards the girl child and women. What does this mean? We have come up with organizations and incentives that are geared towards women. Look at it in politics. We have women member of parliament. There is no man member of parliament. Does this mean men do not need a representative in parliament? Yes,
and
we
yet
know.
Even those where we see men that are not ring-fenced.
Exactly.
A woman can be not only a woman member of parliament, but even the member of parliament of that constituency.
Thank you.
Whereas a man cannot go for the slot of a woman.
So if and even today, where girls are performing pretty well, and unfortunately this year the number of girls that failed vis-a-vis that of but still. Today, where we have the same incentives, we have the same access to the same teachers, girls are in school actually more than boys, they still have those cut-off points. They still have those points they get while entering university. Whereas there may be a boy, I'll give you an example of Subi. We all remember Subi, the boy that was with a metallic suitcase and the Sophia in London bag. This boy had faced the same circumstances girls are facing. Okay, he had a school fees balance at his former school. He was coming from a very poor family, but he never got those points to get the course that he wanted. A private firm had to come out and offer to sponsor him to study the engineering that he had managed to study from the get-go. What am I trying to say? In helping girls, we have forgotten about boys. But my question here is, women have been very vocal about the girls. Have men tried, and I like that Spencer's organization is coming in to stand for the boy. Yes, but don't we need more men? Because in most cases when we talk about issues of the women, a few men are going to say talk about the boys too, but I am a woman, and in as much as a mother of a son, I want my son to get the advantages the girl is getting. Don't we need more men to come up and actually in unison fight for the boy child, just like the women have?
There is need for that effort, and I totally agree with you, Olive, that at a particular point, much as with the women, and you know, for us when we touch something, it grows. Yes. We push for it. We give it our absolute best. Now, I think the unfortunate bit here is that men are still in the idea of we're fine, we're okay.
That's the other thing I said, where men in their mind are still locked up in a place where they think we are men.
Let me just give you a short example, Chantal. Do you know how many men are beaten in their homes?
And they don't say anything.
And they can never speak. If they said, they would even laugh at them.
But I'll ask you.
A woman, even if it's just a pinch,
yes,
the world will say, you're beating
I think Uncle Bob maybe to come in is, I think the way society has made it look like,
yes,
that men cannot complain, men should not, you know, come up and
cannot express
their pain and everything. Yeah. Because what happens is there are so many men that actually are suffering
in silence.
In silence, just like they used to say, a man cannot cry. I personally have a son. And what happens?
Because that's the question I'd asked earlier.
Yes, I have a son, and I want my boy to grow up knowing that they can actually express themselves. They can express their feelings. If it is okay to cry, I mean, it's not bad.
It's human. It's a human
I was actually
emotion.
going to ask. I was going to ask this on a lighter note. On a lighter note, a different. If you, I think one thing that different tribes, I think across the world, share in common to a larger percentage is the fact that a man doesn't cry. When you go to, you're Michiga, right?
Yeah.
When you go to Kavale or whichever area has the rest of the Wachiga, they will tell you you're a man, you shouldn't be crying. You shouldn't even just showing any emotion. It is regarded as weakness. I think you've had growing up in a family of boys and you know, surrounded by boys, you would know that they'll be like,
the boy has fallen, he's bleeding. Yes. The girl is being pampered. If they are twins and one is, and
they will carry the girl, they will take care of her.
No, you've had the statement from fathers, and glad we have two fathers of boys here. Do you have a daughter too?
No.
Okay. So we've had statements from fathers of sons and even daughters saying, I will die for my son. I will kill for my daughter. Why can you kill for your daughter, not kill for your son? Isn't your son a child?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
but also, okay, from that angle, we all know that the girl at a particular point is more vulnerable on certain angles. But at this point, I'd like to call on to our viewer to check in with us, send us a message and let us know what you think. We're talking about parenting, especially for the boy child. Where did we go wrong? Why do we have all this information out there about people? You've had information of men are trash and all, you know, all these not nice things being said about men. But I would like to say men are good people, right, Olive?
Yeah. Men are good
yes,
people.
Men are good people.
I love men. I have a son. I have a dad. I love men. Men are good people.
Yes,
but you know that some of these statements come up because at the end of the day, borrowing from what I said earlier, when a father says, I'll kill for my daughter, fathers know that they have to protect their daughters against
even the men themselves.
Against men. They're always...
I've had conversations with my dad and he tells me, be careful. We men are not easy.
Yes.
I may not use the exact words he used, but just to say it in a lighter way. And he was right.
Yes. To a degree.
Yes, to a degree. The concerns he had were, you need to be careful who you deal with. And this can happen because I would tell my daughter, or I would tell my son, women at some point are not easy people because we all are not. We all are not.
Fear women.
Well, by last year's DNA results and, you know, all the news about DNA,
it looks like the women surpassed the men.
There is reason to fear.
Please do reach out to us on 0709602592. Get into the conversation and let us know what you think. If you are raising a boy, how are you raising this boy to be a better person? I am hoping that the generation of boys we are raising can get to match up the generation of of girls that we are also raising, or our fellows are raising, so that we, one, strike a balance. Yeah. Two, we also get to a point where we don't have to have conversations of this person was not raised right, this person is uncultured, yet these are things that can be handled. So, Spencer, how do we get to strike this balance to ensure that the boy child matches up or catches up to where we have reached when it comes to concerns of the girl child?
I think as parents, we have a role to play in this, because we need to address the issue of gender. Right. And when you are talking about gender, is we expect these young boys and girls to do different things. But we need to groom our kids to come up in a way that they do the same roles. Let's have equal rights, let's give them equal opportunities. Like we said, we used to have bigger opportunities for the girls. Can we give them the equal opportunities? Just from home, as a parent, let the boy do what the girl does. I would prefer a boy to actually clean up. I have no issues with a boy mopping. I have no issues with a boy cooking. Because at the end of the day, once we bring them up with different roles, girls are not designed to be in the kitchen to cook. They are not designed to do everything. And the boys, while the boys are relaxing at home, let the boys, it starts from home. Let's bring them up in a way that the boys will do the same things. Actually, the boys need to understand that they should uplift the girls. But also the girls need to understand they need to support their brothers at home. Right. Now, plus the community. The community has a bigger part to do in this. Because gender mainstreaming is we need to make sure that the issues of gender, a boy and a girl, are known. I believe a man and a girl are equal. The difference is the sexual organ, but they are the same. Okay? That's the truth. They should be doing the same thing, even in society, like you said. I have no issues with why should there be a woman member of parliament coming up for the role of a man. Like in schools, I used to tell someone that in schools, I prefer to have a head prefect where both and a girl can contest at the same rate, at the same level. So once we bring them up, knowing that they have to do the same roles, they have the same responsibilities, it is very easy for us to have a better generation that will have responsible men, that will have responsible girls, that will build this nation. And unfortunately, maybe socially, in some areas, men are meant to just sit down while the ladies are doing things. So it's time for us to educate the community that we have to do the same things.
Great. Yeah. Olive.
Yes, please.
At this point, how do we get our boys to catch up with where the ladies are? How do we raise our sons to make sure that when that time comes, there is no girl who is looking at them and they're like, no, he was not raised right. I can't get married to this one.
Equal opportunities. It is even weird that in this day and age, after everything we've done to uplift the girl child, we are now back to where we started, now speaking about equal opportunities. But it is true, because in most families, when catastrophe strikes, or maybe the breadwinner cannot win the bread anymore, guess who is pulled out of school to, fend for the family? It is usually the boy child. He's the one you're going to find at a construction site when he should be in class. He's the one you're going to find as a turn boy on a truck or trailer when his counterparts are in school. And you would find that even his young sisters or even older sisters are actually in school, but he now has to go and, win the bread. But also the organizations that we have geared towards the girl child. Now, girls still have problems. Because the way we are made, biologically, how we are formed, like Chiraba said, we just need to not be out of school for a short period and our entire future is ruined, like we witnessed during the lockdown. You want a girl child not to be successful in life? Pull them out of school. Even HIV numbers soar among girls that are out of school. But that being said, it doesn't mean that the boy is not a human being. So where we are pulling our sons out of school to fend for the family, where you're telling him, you will go to school Monday to Wednesday, Thursday and Friday you will be at the site. We need to stop that. and recognize that at the end of the day, they are still children. When you look at the absences and presences in school given in a term, in schools, especially day schools, you'll find that boys miss school more than girls. Now, there is a number of girls that will miss school maybe due to sanitary issues, because we've also had conversations around sanitary towels and whatnot. But away from that, a boy child is pulled out of school much more than the female counterpart. So to answer your question in a nutshell, organizations need to come up that are meant to help the boy child, because if we do not empower the boys at a very young age, guess what? For them to try to find their bearing, they're now going to resort to vices that are actually detrimental to their health, like drugs, like alcohol. And also in the long run, we are right now, speak to 35-year-old men. If you speak to 10 and ask them about marriage, you might find that 6 are not interested. Do you know where that starts from? It starts from them not being empowered. Right. So a guy will grow up not even knowing how to handle a woman. In my culture in Buganda, girls are started to be prepared for marriage at a very young age.
In the teen age.
By the time you're like 12, there is things they are telling you. They will even shame you. Who will marry if you can't peel matoke? Who will do this?
Look at how you're sitting. That's
Thank you.
In your husband's home.
Is there someone talking to my brother at that age? No. They are telling him, go make money.
The most they're going to tell him is, you have to be hardworking and provide for the family.
And now even the provision, I'm not very sure, because more and more men don't want to get married. We have more and more single mothers raising boys as if they are girls, and now there is no direction. So at the end of the day, a guy grows up, he's like, my mom did it, so a woman can do it. So he won't even do much to provide for the family, and that's when these fathers come in.
That's
you
when they are
really
supposed to
have
come
to play a pivotal role, because we can speak until the chicken come home, but if you, the fathers, are not involved, we are going to have the same problem or even worse.
Uncle Bob, how do we match up? How do we strike the balance?
Well, first is men must get back to their position.
And what do you mean by their positions?
Men, I've spoken to so many men, and our guests can affirm to that. When you listen to the evening lessons that usually men have, the evening clubs, whatever you may call them, where they discuss issues of national importance, but when you scrutinize, when you scrutinize,
the nations we are talking about in this case, because nation could be meaning something else.
Issues of national interest. Of course, women never lack in these meetings. They are top on agenda sometimes.
Women.
But there is one common thing that men will tell you. If you tell him, but why do you have 2 wives? You got a promotion, you got another woman. Why is the devil following you? He will tell you, Robert, my father had 4. We were all able to go to school. My mother sold alcohol, my mother did this. Here I am today, I'm a professional doctor. I'm a doctor. When you tell him, but really, you beat your wife, he'll still go back.
That's what he saw.
When everything you talk about, you find that a man, and there are things a man can never do. I personally, because of my lineage, and my father, his brother, I can never wake up and say, I have a home in Chengera, there is a woman. I have a home in Machini, I have a wife there. Because I know, I never saw my father do it.
And he would actually not be happy if he did.
He would even make a will and exclude me. You get it? So, men must go back to that position. We must go back and say, I have a son. You know, God gives us children, but they belong to him. We are stewards.
Yes, very well.
And men watching this, I'm not preaching, but if you believe in heaven, the most thing God is going to account you for are the children he gave you. And that son he gave you, because even God values sons, that's why he has a son, not a daughter. Jesus, the Son of God. God attaches a son special relevance. So, fathers today, it doesn't mean that we have to be married. Because yes, we have many single mothers. Things can happen. But where are you? In the olden days, even if a husband to someone died, they would bring what they call a fatherly figure. Unfortunately, today fatherly figures want to take over everything.
Right.
But they would even send that fatherly figure to come and beat these children, punish them. They tell him,
and this fatherly figure was respected.
Respected. He was a father to these children. Today, men have become something else. Every morning I wake up and I look at my son. There is a way I want to raise him.
Right.
So, unless men think twice, today have so many donors.
Sperm donors.
Sperm donors. There are so many. Today we have, because women are empowered, we have men who have this thinking. I was raised by a single mom, so therefore a single mother can raise my children. Now the problem is, in your old age, because you neglected this son, at your well-built home, you have 20 grandchildren. 20! For him, he was giving birth. Now every girl who fails is bringing to your home. Sort of enjoying your pension, your NSSF, now you're battling with things because you never prioritized. Men have a responsibility. Let's go back to our position.
Let's go back to our position.
And instill those values and ensure we educate these men to be better than what we are today.
There is a concern of mental health, and the most vocal side is for the women. Even when you check statistics, they will tell you women between the age of 16 and 24 are almost 3 times as likely to experience a common mental health issue as males of the same age group. Now, women are put at a 26% rate, and men are put at a 9% rate. And at some point, you might want to even dispute these statistics, because men barely come out to talk about the mental health issue. Now, when you talk about mental health, you talk about the psychological health of someone, you talk about the emotional health of someone. The two combined can lead to a mental health issue. And Spencer, this is the point where I would like you to weigh in. As someone who is into the grooming part, for both the girls and the boys, and there is a bit of a balance that you're striking, I would like to know how your experience has been in handling these boys and the girls, and the comparison, and how true is it even that the girls face more mental health issues than the boys?
Yesterday I was having a conversation with a doctor friend of mine, and we were discussing about mental health. And he was telling me that part of the reasons why there is increased rate of mental health is people die in silence. People don't want to speak out. They don't want to speak. They have stress. They, like young ladies, if you get a miscarriage, it's very easy for you to get mental health issues. The same with boys. Now, what happens is most of these boys, because I'm grooming them, but some of them are assaulted, even at school or at home. Once a boy is assaulted, they don't speak out. So you'll have so many cases on a boy that eventually they'll end up having mental issues. So number one is we need to tell them to speak up. We need to raise them in a way that they'll speak up in case of anything, and we have to show them alternatives. Where should they go? What happens in our foundation is we create a gap, we create a bridge for them to come and talk to us about how they are treated at home. And it is interesting that actually most of these young boys and girls, they have issues at home, but they have no one to speak to.
Yes.
Or even at school. So what happens is they talk to us, we talk to them, and then refer them to where they should go. We have different doctors that come in. We have mentorship programs for them to learn and understand where they should go. Because what happens even at home, like we discussed earlier, if a man has issues, they will not go anywhere. But these young boys need to understand we have Uganda police, we have guardians, we have, even at schools, at the schools we have mentors. What happens is we assign different mentors to each child so that they can speak up and then try to understand what their problems are. Most of the times, they will not come and talk to their parents about what is hurting them.
And what could be the cause, or what could be the reasons as to why these children, especially the boys, are not able to speak up?
Like what we said, it all goes back to parenting. Uncle Bob was speaking, and I think we need to as parents, we need to be more of parents than friends to our children. Now, once you become a real parent, one, you'll have to bring up your son or daughter in a way that they understand what they need to do. You need to speak to them freely, give them advice. What happens is, I have a friend of mine, he's a father, but what happens is most of the times he takes the kids for swimming. He doesn't mind whether they've done homework or not, and it is not good. He focuses on being so much close to the kids that they are so much friends, which is not good. So eventually, as parents, it is our responsibility to create opportunities for them to talk to us. As we are parents to them, let's have that small friendship in a way that they'll open up to you. But let's have that in mind that they'll have to respect us as parents, but also be as free as possible to come and open up. Even with the teachers, teachers they don't need to be so tough with the kids. They need to open up channels for them to talk. Even in companies, different organizations have gender focal persons. Right. And when we talk about gender, is most of the times we leave out the boy child.
Yeah, when you talk about gender, the first thing that comes to someone's mind is
the girl child.
The girl child, the
but
woman.
Gender, when we talk about gender, is we include everyone. So even in companies, even here at UBC, we need to have gender focal persons that if Uncle Bob had an issue with, for example, someone, he can openly discuss the issue, and then he is given advice. So let's create channels for our young boys and girls to come and report, and then discuss freely what is disturbing them, and then we guide them on the way forward.
Great. Well, I think you've articulated it very well. We need to have can I call them places or positions where the boys and the men are able to to express themselves. But isn't it engraved in a way in our minds? Isn't it? It's as if it's a default setting that the boy will always be okay. How do we undo that kind of setting? Because we have men in the mid-20s, actually early 20s, count from 19 or 20 and all the way above, and these men are not okay. I don't want to use the word sick, but they're not okay. Yeah, and now we are looking at these very men, they are the ones raising the young ones. Yes. That means we can't start with the young ones. We'd have to start with the ones who are here already. How do we even undo that? I think that it's time now for the ladies to come out. This time you need to come out and advocate for the same rights as the boys, just like we've done. I feel so much in a good position when men come up and actually advocate for equal rights for men and women, especially women. I feel so good when men come up, because eventually if they do that, then it would be very easy to have a developed community. So it is time for the ladies, my sisters, you come up, talk to the boys, let them know that it is okay to talk. But they also need to know that it is okay, it is not okay. We need to talk to the ladies. Now you need to talk to the fellow ladies. Let them know that it is not okay to mistreat a man. It is not okay to feel you're on top of everything because you've had so many privileges in your life. So it is important for you now to come up and speak for the boy child.
Yes, we will speak for the boy child as women, but we need to go back, like we said, empowering a child starts at home. Empowering a girl child starts at home. Empowering a boy child starts at home. And if this home has a father, because I am a woman, I will teach my son certain aspects of life, but from the lens of a woman. But if a man tells a boy child, like a teenager, if a teenager hears from a grown man that it's okay to cry, it's okay to be weak sometimes, he will actually take that much more than he takes it from me. So I'm throwing it back at you. Our brothers, our men, even when the relationship has ended, you still have a role to play, at least in the life of the child that you sired when the relationship happened. And also let's face it, partly the reason why the boy child has been left behind is because globally men have gained from patriarchy. I mean, even to this day, they still fill up boardrooms. They are chairmans of different places. They are CEOs. Yes, we have female CEOs, but to be honest, we still have men, more and more men in those positions. So what am I saying? Men have for so long benefited from patriarchy, but now we need to get away from that because it is affecting our children. And we also need to drop the notion that empowering one group disempowers another.
Exactly.
We need to work hand in hand. They are both children, girls and boys. Let's elevate them together. And also, let's teach the boy children to get with the realities of life today. Like you said earlier, you cannot tell a boy not to cry. Today, mental sickness or mental illness is a very big thing. When you tell someone to bottle up their emotions, you're starting up something that will spiral out of control. That's why we have more men committing suicide
and also getting into substance abuse
and addiction. Why? They have no one to talk to, so they will either self-delete or they will choose to use substances. Before you know it, we have a society led by women, and we need men. We need men. We need a balanced society.
We need the men. We need a balanced society that is olive. Now, I do have some comments coming in. Someone says, "Good morning, UBC. My name is Sam from Chihihi, Kanungu. Thank you for hosting Honorable Spencer. Spencer has helped many people in our communities." And then someone says, "Please, is this parenting strategies live now?" Yes, it is, Kasmil. And then, "Good morning. I'm Dorothy from Kanungu. Thank you for hosting Zamani. We are behind come 2026.
Oh wow.
Good morning, UBC. Thank you for the show. My name is Basima O Rodney. My point of view is the ladies are up in the fight, but they are mothers of the boys too. I think they should help fight for the sons too. If the men fight for their sons, it will look like men are single-sided." Well, I think you meant to say this should be joint effort, and I agree with you. Gumisi is a Vincent from Uganda says, if that one has helped, who will marry those girls? If that one has happened, who will marry those girls? Last time women in Finland were demonstrating that men should marry more than one woman. This is what is coming here. If that one has happened, who will marry those girls? That is Gumisi is a Vincent from Uganda. Good morning. Parents should play their role in grooming these boys to become better men, but also government programs should target boys as much as they target the girls. Thank you for the presentation. Then this is a Jovan from Karamoja. Good morning, UBC. I think we need to balance the boat because a world where a boy child is uncultured is a world complicated to lead. I want to give an example. Look at the number of males involved in riots versus the number of females, even before we go to where we are heading to. It's scary, the world we will be living in if we continue doing what we are doing. I think to balance this, we need to raise awareness to include the boy child in a kind of program that does not deny them a chance to access the same services as female counterparts can access, provided it can help them to become responsible. Jovan from Karamoja, very well said. Good morning and thanks for the show. As a country, we need a policy change, and it starts with the government. Children should be looked at the same way, regardless of gender. Because of the gender roles, men are suffering at the expense of women, especially in marriage.
Oh.
Then someone here says the level women have reached in terms of equal opportunities wouldn't be negatively impactful to us men if only they took their role as mothers and wives while at home. It's very unfortunate that women empowerment we men advocated for now also makes some women husbands in a home.
Chantal, can I comment on that briefly? We say, yes, we cannot say that women empowerment has made, what did he say?
Made them husbands.
Has made women husbands
in the home.
As a woman, I get a chance to speak to fellow women, some of them in marriage. It goes back to what we've been saying all through this program, that because the men are not empowered, so let me tell you, a woman's existence is to make sure that her family is nurtured and well taken care of. If my husband lost a job, the next thing I'm thinking of is to find, even if I'm going to work in the market, to find a way we will feed and eat. Whereas this gentleman is like me, I had an office job, I can't do something like that. I am going to take up the mantle and make sure that we survive. So today we have more women, in as much as men complain that women have become husbands, but we have more women taking up many opportunities to make a living than men because some works are beneath them. When you go to the market, how many men do you find there?
Okay. and it goes without saying that at some point the men are still saying, I'm still trying, but the woman is in the market working there.
We have to eat.
Someone says, I'm remedious, and my issue is many organizations have come out for a girl child or meeting out the boy. This has resulted into increase of drug misuse. And do you know that many men died due to depression? Depression, I think you meant depression. Oh dear. Women have demanded for equal opportunities to the extent that they have surpassed men. These days, companies don't want to employ men because their demands are high. That is quite not true.
It's not
the job where a man demands to be paid 1 million, a woman is willing to do the same for 400K. And of course, she can do it because we join the same schools. As a result, many men remain unemployed, yet their responsibilities remain upon themselves. This is Abuka Ronald from Munyonyo.
But what Abuka is not mentioning is that is exploitation. If you will pay a man 1 million for a job, why are you paying me for 100,000?
Well, because the women are willing to settle for that, and you can look at it from the angle of they could be desperate to work and do something.
Because the men are not working.
Well, very many comments are coming in, and I'm afraid our time seems to be fast spent. We have about 2 minutes to go. Biblically, the female gender should care for more than the male gender, should care more for the male gender. However, fathers should be exemplary to the boys. What the parents do, children usually copy them. Again, the father should ask themselves, what do I want my son to become in the future?
Yes.
A brain of a woman was wired differently from that of a man. The part of the brain which controls emotions in women is bigger than that of the man. Hence, women are more emotional than men and can easily come out to talk about their issues. Regardless of that, we should encourage our children to express their pain. Find time to talk to your children. And I think you meant sons. This is Charles. Charles, thank you so much. This is very well put. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to read all these comments. There are quite many. I'm seeing people from Tororo, and the comments are really many. And people have so much to say about what we can do to raise the boy child better, and make sure that we close that gap that is there right now, that is causing all these conversations of did you raise me a husband, conversations of you are uncultured, who raised you, people get even insulted when they say how did your mother raise you, how did your father raise you, yet maybe it's from a place of I don't understand what you're doing. And
have you ever seen someone telling a person, I don't blame you, I blame your parents?
Yes, and however much someone wants to feel insulted with that, at some point there is some truth to it. Yes. Though when some grow, they take different fruits from what their parents did for them. Now, I want to finalize this and first go to Spencer. Spencer, briefly, a little more detail about Zamani Foundation, where we can find you, what kind of people, what kind of children the age brackets of children that you deal with, and some contacts on social media where we can find you. Anything that you have that is upcoming, could be a camp, it could be a training. Let us know, because I think our boys and girls need these foundations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Before I go to that, I want to close with this regarding our topic. Is two main things we need to look at. Gender equality, and gender equality means equalness in everything that we do. And then gender equity. Gender equity is fairness and distribution of resources to both boys and girls. So let's give them equal opportunities, because they'll be empowered. Now, talking about my foundation, the Zamani Inspire Foundation, we started it basically to promote, there was a high rate of school dropout in Kanungu. Yeah. So we came in to give support to the community, because at the end of the day, the reason as why we have a vicious cycle of poverty is because we don't have a land community. So we need the young people to stay in school. So we support them with books, scholastic materials, pens. We support some with bursaries so that they can keep in school. And then we promote and talk about mental health and public health, plus sports, because we need these young people engaged. So that is what the Zamani Inspire Foundation does. It is located in Kanungu and basically focuses on the community to improve it. We need a land community. And then, of course, the time is coming on where people are going back to school. Every time they go back to school, we support them with books, uniforms, pens, bursaries and everything. Then in the middle of the year, usually our plan is, in the middle of the year, we do a health checkup, an outreach camp. And then these young people are the beneficiaries plus their parents. We are also looking at how do we ensure that the parents get resources to support the children. What we do is, like I told you, we do 50-50, 50% boys and 50% girls. We need, one of the reasons as to why as a foundation we don't entirely take off the responsibility of parents from them. So we also need them to come in and support, to be involved. So we involve the parents. Okay, so we have different things that we do to support the parents, different skills and resources that we involve them in so that they can support their kids as well.
Great. Yeah. Great. How do we get you? Are you on social media?
On all social media platforms, on Twitter, Zaman Inspire Foundation, on Facebook, Zaman Inspire Foundation, Instagram, everywhere it's Zaman.
Is this for only those of Kanungu, or I can come from Kampala and camp in Kanungu?
For now, I believe in quality and creating impact. For now, we are focusing in Kanungu, and then after some time, once we see that we've created impact, is what we do is something that we use to measure the impact is we support, we used a P4 as a model class. Right. So what we need is, initially what happened is we had, if we had 50 pupils start P1, by the time they get to P7 there would be like 10 or 5. So we start to support from P4. Right now we are supporting 700 young people. 700, yes. So our focus is to ensure that the 700 complete their P7 and then support them up to university and everything.
The 700 from different schools or just one school?
They are from different schools. What we do is in each sub-county, we take select 5 schools. We have 14 sub-counties, 5 schools, 10 pupils in each school. So total we have 700. So what we do is we walk a journey with these young people. We give them direction, we support them, we mentor them. So we have so many activities that are focused on ensuring that the 700 will come up to be leaders tomorrow.
Great.
Plus their parents.
Great. Thank you so much, Spencer, for the job well done. And Zamani Foundation, thank you for the job you're doing for the people of Kanungu District. Now, we can't go further than this. Thank you for being a part of the conversation, for the comments you have sent in. We are grateful that you were able to tune in. Thank you for watching. Good Morning Uganda Friday special continues. Do stay with us. Good morning.
UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Well, welcome everyone to the biggest game on the continent.
And you have to. You've got to just seize those moments and enjoy them as much as you possibly can.
The National Liberation Day, held on the 26th of January every year, marks the overthrow of the previous government by the National Resistance Movement /Army in 1986. The theme for the 38th NRA Victory Day anniversary celebrations is Building a Country We All Cherish.
On Friday the 26th of January 2024, all roads will lead to St. John's Secondary School Wachitaka in Jinja City, Church of Uganda grounds for the anniversary celebrations. Don't miss the celebrations live on UBC.
Junko. Yo. Wachiko. Check the shopping man. What's your secret? Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM? Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk. No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portal project, and now things are moving. Junko, I thought I was one of your friends. You are, but you left me behind. I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do? Just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief, and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government, designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Mukoke Fish Farmers Association tuli balunzi ba byananda ebyebika ebisatu omuli Miracap, tilapia oba engege ni catfish twete male. Group eno twatandika twali abantu basatu nga tulingirira obwetaavu obwebyenanda obwivwa eno okubona nti tufuna okasente akava mu maadi agali gatambula butambule nga gatubita ku wanu ng'ekirabo. Twatandika ni fish pond ndala mu mwaka gw'2018. Twebaza fisheries officer ni district ya Bugiri babanga batulagirira kusani fish farm ebuyikwe ni side day ndeyo twabanga tusobola okufuna oka era mu mwaka ogwali 2 basobola okubanga batuwaayo ebyenanda emitwalo ena operation werese creation bayongereza ku emmere yatuweebwa okuva Uganda Poultry Breeders. Twasobola okubanga tusoloza akasente akawerera obukayire nga 40 twasobola okubanga tubuinvestinga oba okubongeramu twongerezaako ku bimu ku bintu bye tukubanga buli saawa efaayo okubanga efeeri y'Abannayuganda.
As Gulu District Farmers Association, in 2 districts of Omoro and Gulu, for Finsaur and Tirantwe, farmers benefited from this project. Link of Gulu District Farmers Association, you have all the details of the number of farmers from this project called Prelno. It has strengthened the DFA or the Gulu District Farmers Association, whereby capacity building of each of the staff, the one in Gulu, the one in Omoro. The first, before this farmer was from this project, whereby, particularly for me, the other achievement I made, because
live from pieces to UPC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, thank you for joining us here on Good Morning Uganda. Today is a beautiful Friday. We are here to usher you into the weekend. My name is Olive Monica Najuma. Now, before we delve into traffic updates as of this morning, yes, we have traffic updates. But before we delve into that, I would like to read more of the comments that came from you during the discussion that we just had. And the point of discussion today was the boy child being left behind as we empower the girl child. Now, many of you had opinions to share, and some of them we weren't able to read them at that time. But I would like to go through them first, then we can delve into today's traffic updates. Now, Ahmed from Entebbe said, "Good morning, UBC. The boy child issue needs to be taken into the utmost urgency as we emphasize on girl child, boy child. When we grow up, it becomes, the boy child becomes a breadwinner in our culture. But I'm seeing this now that boys are becoming less responsible, hence causing problems to their spouses. They can't afford necessary things, which results into domestic violence, even fear to marry nowadays. Let's put these two genders on a round table to make tomorrow a better society." And this one says, "Hello, good morning." He's Robert. He says good morning, and he says he's Ochen. He says, "I think and have been seeing for years, government, independent bodies and communities are a bit silent about what concerns male children. For example, many male children are being defiled, but you don't see the victims brought to book." That's really sad. Now, this next message is from Bolamo Bill Joseph, and he's a UCU student of social work and social administration. He says it's quite funny that the campaign to uplift the girl child only left the boy child shambling behind, all in the sense of equality, hence no equilibrium or balance. And with the change of generations, shifts men have now become vulnerable to, and there is need for a realization that they need assistance too. A boy child's parents should realize the most appropriate way to create balance between daughters and their sons, because even statistically men have the highest number of suicides, basically from depression, because they can't speak to anyone because they are men. And moving on, this one says, "I have liked the discussion. We hurried to implement things without carrying out thorough research. Everywhere people were sounding drums of girl child, and now things are backfiring. The boy child was denied support in education, and yet no girl may accept to marry an illiterate boy when she is highly educated. I have not heard of a girl robbing at gunpoint, and yet boys have to do that to put food on the table. However much a woman earns more than a man is pushed to the wall to provide shelter, food, among others, for the family, while the woman says her money is for her people. Girl child's wholesome support has led to the growth of single mothers because they feel they are able to do everything without a man. What she needs only is a child. It is high time we look for equal opportunities for equal genders." And Jasper was saying hi to Zamani, and George from Tororo says he loves the show. And Wambale Enosin Kasanda District says, "Good morning, family. I think that a boy child has been thought of this time around. Bigger presenters, I'm behind you." Thank you so much, and we appreciate your views that have come through as of this morning. We really appreciate that you share your views and opinions with us, because that way we both learn from each other. And for whatever opinions you have, please always join the conversation every morning at 7. We have topical discussions, and your contribution is very paramount. But now we move on to traffic updates, and we are looking at the area which is Chura up until we make it to the center of town. Now, starting at Chira roundabout, there is traffic jam. There is a build-up or a delay that we are experiencing right this minute at the roundabout in Chira. Now, I see a bit of traffic jam going the side of Namugongo, and it is for quite some stretch. The build-up and then the traffic jam coming through along the Namugongo Kasangat Road. And of course, away from that, moving on, I see that the side of Namugongo, there is smooth flow of traffic coming from Chira heading to Namugongo side. So the traffic jam is coming in from Kasangat side, crossing over, and then you will lose it when we cross over and head into the side of Namugongo. Now, turning our attention to the road that goes through Nigeria heading into Ntinda, Chiwatle, let's see how the traffic situation is looking like this morning. Now, shortly after the roundabout, for some reason lately there is always traffic jam in this area, but moving ahead we see smooth flow of traffic, at least for the most part. And continuing still with this route, we are still experiencing a smooth flow of traffic. I see Serubiri Road has smooth flow of traffic and it's not feeding in any traffic jam into the main Mbogo Road. Now, moving ahead, where Buwate Road, this is now in Nigeria, where Nigeria 2, where Buwate Road, meanwhile, this road has finally been worked on, so the people of Buwate might be maybe breathing a sigh of relief. The dust that characterized this road is now something of the past. The road has finally been fixed, so the people of Buwate, I'm sure they are starting their 2024 with smiling faces. So around this area, there is a bit of traffic jam, and this is usually brought about by the potholes that are in this area. So you will experience a delay around this area where Buwate connects to Mbogo Road in Nigeria 2. And moving on ahead, there is smooth flow of traffic as the minute you are past the potholes around this section. Now, going ahead, we are experiencing a smooth flow of traffic, but before you reach Total Energies and around Total Energies in Nigeria, then you will experience a bit of a traffic jam over there. And as we move ahead, we see that Bulabida Road is smooth this morning. There is no traffic jam over there. So if that's the section you want to take, you should be able to move in a record time. Now, moving ahead, still, we are still in the area of Nigeria. This is along Mbogo Road. There is a bit of a delay around Nigeria Police Station, but it is not for a big period of time. So you should be able to navigate the road and move to the next section in record time. And as we approach the first section that takes you to Bulabira Road, again we see that there is a smooth flow of traffic around this area, but for some people there is going to be a delay, especially for those that are heading to the side of Chira. There is a bit of a hold up as the traffic situation is starting to build around this area. Continuing ahead, we are experiencing smooth flow of traffic in the Nigeria area. So the delays are here and there, but not for a long period of time. And this is good news. Being a Friday, I'm sure that many people would not want to be stuck in traffic jam. Now, as you can see on your screen, where the Nigeria, now we are in Chiwatle and above the bypass. So around this bridge, there is smooth flow of traffic in this section. You should be able to join areas of Ntinda in record time. There is a bit of traffic jam around Chikawa Road, but that should not take so much of your time. And as Mbogo Road now joins the Chiwatle Road, there is still smooth flow of traffic in this section. Unfortunately, we won't be able to go further than this, but if you're in the areas of Ntinda, Nigeria, Chiwatle, there is smooth flow of traffic on the road for the most part. Even for the people that are coming in from areas like Nalia, the situation still looks good, so you shouldn't be worried to hit the road right this minute. Well, my name is Olive Monica Najamal. This is Good Morning Uganda Friday edition. We are still broadcasting live to you from our studios here at Nile Avenue. Chantal Olive is coming up next.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
The National Liberation Day, held on the 26th of January every year, marks the overthrow of the previous government by the National Resistance Movement /Army in 1986. The theme for the 38th NRA Victory Day anniversary celebrations is All Cherish. On Friday the 26th of January 2024, all roads will lead to St. John's Secondary School Wachitaka in Jinja City, Church of Uganda grounds for the anniversary celebrations. Don't miss the celebrations live on UBC.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Watching Good Morning. It's the 26th of, I don't know why November is in my head. It is Liberation Day. It is a public holiday, and for some or for most people, you are home. For most people, they are home, and I'm now starting to think, even on a public holiday, I'm here at 4 in the morning. Need I rethink what I studied back in school? Maybe not, but well, we're here to give you some bit of entertainment this Friday. You know how we do it, making sure that for the weekend you have something to keep you busy. It's going to be a long weekend, so brace yourself for it. If you want to catch on some movies, I do have some recommendations for you. If you want to attend a concert, I have recommendations for you as well. Anything more entertainment, we have it here on Good Morning Uganda Friday special now. The first movie recommendation I have is Madame Web. Now, Madame Web is an upcoming American superhero film based on Marvel Comics, featuring the character of the same name, produced by Columbia Pictures and D. Bonaventura Pictures in association with Marvel Entertainment, and distributed by Sony Pictures. Releasing it is intended to be the fourth film in the Sony's Spider-Man universe. The film is directed by S.J. Clarkson, who co-wrote the screenplay with Claire Parker, Matt Sazama, and Buck Sharpless. From a story of Karim Sanga Sazama and Sharpless, it stars Dakota Johnson in the title role alongside Sydney Sweeney, Celeste O'Connor, Isabel Masaid, and Taha Rahim. Take a look at the trailer.
Get off, get off. What? That man is trying to kill you.
Cassie, those girls need your protection.
How do I even know if I can change anything?
The power of your mind has infinite potential.
Madame Web, exclusively in cinemas.
Madame Web is a truly dynamic character.
Hi, it's Cassie Webb.
When you first meet Cassie, she is a paramedic in New York City and doesn't really let people in.
You have a winning personality. I guess I got yours by mistake.
And then things take quite a turn. When Cassie begins to experience her clairvoyance, she thinks she's losing her mind.
This is an emergency. Get off the train.
In this one moment, Cassie connects all three of their lives.
That man is trying to kill you.
Madame Web's powers are really interesting. She's able to see into the future.
And because she's able to see it, she's able to prevent it.
Let's try that again.
It's really interesting how it plays on fate or destiny. You don't think this is weird? How we're all connected?
It's honestly like the least weird thing that's happened all day.
Madame Web is the movie that we are recommending this morning, and it's going to be released on the 14th of February 2024. Please do be on the lookout for that one. But Already released is The Wanted Man, which is a 2024 American action film starring and directed by Dolph Lundgren, who also wrote the screenplay with Michael Worth. Now, the film was released by Quiver Distribution in select theaters and on video on demand in the United States on January 17, 2024, starring Dolph Lundgren as Johansson, Christina Villa as Rosa, Kelsey Grammer as Bryna, Michael Pear as Tinelli, Roger Cross as Hernandez, and Aaron McPherson as Hiltz. And the principal photography took place in Las Cruces, that is New Mexico, in May 2022. Released in November 2023, Quiver Distribution acquired North American distribution rights to the film, scheduling it for a simultaneous release in select theaters and on video on demand on January 17th. Take a look at the trailer.
You have to save yours and our reputation. The DEA murders in Silverado, remember that?
Yeah, 2 undercover agents killed in a drug buy.
We're DEA! I got the marshals to agree to send you down and bring those 2 witnesses back here.
Sometimes I mess around with movie lines. You looking at me?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else around here? ¿Algún problema?
Let a doctor fix you up the right way. This is my brother.
It's dangerous. The longer we're here, the more danger for your family.
Johansson has a few lives left. He's a strong one.
She can help solve who killed those DEA agents. In America, we can protect...
You can! Te van a encontrar, Rosa. Te van a matar, vas a que te maten nomás.
So who do you know that you trust that you can call?
So many questions, my friend.
Wanted Man is the movie. If you are someone that loves action like I do, that is the movie that I would recommend, and definitely I am catching up on this one this weekend now. That is Wanted Man, and as you can see, the cast is actually good, so you are headed for some really good action. Now, the last movie recommendation is Night Swim. This is a 2024 American supernatural horror film written and directed by Bryce Maguire in his feature directorial debut, and based on the 2014 short film of the same name. And this was by Maguire and Rod Blackhurst. The film stars Wyatt Russell and Kerry Condon. Its plot follows a suburban family who discovered that their backyard swimming pool is haunted. Take a look at the trailer.
It needs a little work, but I don't think it's going to last long at this price.
There's a pool. Always wanted a pool. Is this everything?
We'll grow into it.
Y'all ready? Marco.
Hello. Marco.
Hello.
Marco. I hear you. You need to say something back. Marco.
Night Swim is the movie. If you are a fan of horror movies, that is a movie that I would recommend for you to watch this weekend. Now, what is the plot? In the present day, the Fuller family, Ray, Eve, and children Izzy and Elliot, are seeking a new permanent residence after Ray has been forced to retire from his baseball career due to illness. The purchase of the former residence of the Fuller family. Ray scratches his hand while working to clear out the pool in the backyard. When the pool maintenance come to inspect it, they revealed that the pool is essentially self-sustaining, taking its water from an underground spring in the area. Well, that is already weird and creepy about a swimming pool, but that is what you're going to be finding in case you choose to watch this movie right there. Now, like I said, we have some concerts that are coming up this weekend, and filmmaker King Kong has a concert that is happening today at Lugogo Cricket Oval. What a way to celebrate! What a way to celebrate Liberation Day. It's a public holiday. You don't have work tomorrow and the next until Monday. So definitely, like I said, it's going to be a long weekend. Filmmaker is going to be at Lugogo Cricket Oval, so you can get onto the concert if you have your 20,000 for ordinary, but also 50,000 for VIP. And if you have 3 million, you might also get that for yourself. And on the other side, bad news for the lovers of David Lutalo. His concert was postponed, and there is a press release dated 25th January, that is yesterday. The management of the Hairs Music Farm Limited wishes to notify the general public that the Bongote concert, which had been scheduled for 27th January 2024 at Serena Hotel, has been postponed due to the NAM and G77 plus China Third South Summit that have been taking place in the country. It has come to our notice that international delegates who attended the above-mentioned conferences are still utilizing the hotel premises, making it hard for the organizers to satisfactorily deliver a noteworthy music concert as projected prior. We therefore wish to inform the general public that the concert has been rescheduled for 8th November 2024 after I think this was after having conversations with the Serena management, and of course thanks to the general public for understanding in advance. But well, if you had your ticket already purchased, it's not as bad as it seems. In November, you will be able to attend the concert. It's going to be on the 8th, and that is from the Hairs Music Farm Limited. For those that were looking forward to David Lutalo's concert, unfortunately for you, there is not going to be a concert taking place until November 8th. That is it for more entertainment news this Friday. Please do stick around. Good Morning Uganda Friday special continues. Also remember, we have Sonko already in Jinja, and I will be giving you all the live updates of how the Liberation Day celebrations are happening right there.
UPC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
The National Liberation Day, held on the 26th of January every year, marks the overthrow of the previous government by the National Resistance Movement /Army in 1986. The theme for the 38th NRA Victory Day anniversary celebrations is Building a Country We All Cherish. On Friday the 26th of January 2024, all roads will lead to St. John's Secondary School Wachitaka in Jinja City, Church of Uganda grounds for the anniversary celebrations. Don't miss the celebrations live on UBC.
Well, welcome everyone to the biggest game on the continent.
And you have to. You've got to just seize those moments and enjoy them as much as you possibly can.
Good morning. My name is Ruben Mpima Chivirango. Happy anniversary. Is it anniversary? what is it called? What am I speaking here? But 30 years of NRM, of course, we need to celebrate. Actually, it's Liberation Day, not anniversary. Liberation Day. Those about 27 men stood up and said, no, enough is enough, and went to the bushes in Luero. And they came back in 86 with victory. So happy Liberation Day to everybody. The historicals who are still living, I will send you our regards. Haji Moses Chigongo, how are you? Let me hope you're fine. Those who are in Jinja, of course the team is down there. They will be giving us the live feed of what is transpiring there. But of course, away from that, into sports, the game between the Warriors and the Kings is actually in the fourth quarter. And as things are, the Warriors are trailing by 4 points. Yeah, that is NBA. And of course, the other game, which is the fourth quarter, is between the Lakers and the Bulls. And the Lakers are leading the Bulls by 10 points, 122 to 102. But of course, the other games are done. The Pacers did beat the 76ers. That was 134 to 122 for the Pacers, for the 76ers. Then the Wizards did lose the Jazz. That was 123 to 108 for the Wizards. The Heat did also lose the Celtics. What a game of basketball. 143 to 110. And finally, the New York Knicks did beat the Denver Nuggets. That was 122 to 84 for the Denver Nuggets. But of course, tomorrow morning there will be some games in NBA. The Hawks will take on the Mavericks. That will be at 3 a.m. in the morning. Then the Pacers will play the Suns. That will be at 3 as well. We'll have the Raptors at 3:30 against the Clippers. Now Kawhi Leonard returns to the Raptors to take on of course, goes back to the city where he won the championship, and he will be facing the Raptors. Of course, he left with victory. That was Kawhi Leonard. Then the Bucks will take on the Cavs at 4 a.m. The Pelicans will take on the Thunder. That will be at 4 as well. At 5:30, the Spurs will take on the Blazers. And at 11 tonight, the Knicks will take on the Heat. That will be in the NBA basketball. Then away from the NBA basketball into sport, into football. Of course, we will have a couple of games that will be played in the leagues return tonight or tomorrow. There are those games which will be played today, of course, and then those which will be played tomorrow. But I'll start with the game that we have today, the games we have today in the FA Cup. We'll have Chelsea against Aston Villa. That will be at 10:45 today. Then Spurs will take on City at 11 p.m. tonight. That will be in the FA Cup. And tomorrow, the FA Cup will return. Tomorrow, a couple of games will be played in the FA Cup. But of course, we'll also have the leagues returning from other countries, the Bundesliga, the Serie A, and La Liga. Before I go into AFCON, of course, we'll have La Liga. Sociedad will take on Vallecano. That will be tomorrow. Then, of course, Las Palmas will play Madrid at 8:15. Barcelona will take on Villarreal at 8:30, and Mallorca will play against Betis. That will be at 11 p.m. Then, of course, in the Serie A, there will be a couple of games in the Serie A. Atlanta will take on Udinese. Talking about Udinese, the Italian FA came out and slashed the fine on the club. The game between AC Milan and Udinese, that happened in Udine, that's the city in Italy. Manionan was actually abused, the Milan goalkeeper, and I remember watching him storm off the pitch. And I did see such a scenario. I think it was 2017 when Sule Ali Montari was playing for Pescara. They played against Cagliari, and he went off. He was actually racial abused and left the pitch. So Atlanta will take on Udinese, Juve will play Empoli, and AC Milan will be playing against Bologna. That will be tomorrow. Of course, in the Bundesliga, Augsburg will take on Bayern Munich, Offenheim against Hayden. Then Stuttgart will take on Leipzig, Bremen will take on Freiburg, Wolfsburg will take on Cologne, and Leverkusen will play Gladbach. That will be in the German Bundesliga. And of course, in AFCON, round of 16 returns. That will be tomorrow. Angola will take on Namibia. That will be at 8. I think I will be here with Michael. Then Nigeria will play against Cameroon. Big game to catch there. But the Super Eagles will take on the Lions. That's a good game. Those who love AFCON. Then, of course, on Sunday, Equatorial Guinea will take on Guinea, and Egypt will play DR Congo. That will be at 11. And we shall get back here on Monday and take you through more AFCON results. But the peak of the day of tomorrow will be Nigeria against Cameroon. That will be the West African Derby. So you can catch that game live on UBC TV. Then Angola and Namibia will also be live. The team will be here to analyze those games. And Sunday, the big one will be Egypt against DR Congo. That will be at 11 p.m. Well, I've got to go. That's it from sports this morning. But I'll leave you with the best goals that were scored in the AFCON so far. And I want you to enjoy. But there's one scored by Bebe from Cape Verde. I enjoyed that piece of art, if you ask me. Because I did see that coming from such a player. But he did get a wonderful goal for his country. That is Cape Verde. Good morning.
Olive Akandinda. Today is the 25th of January. Thank you for staying with us and thank you for keeping it. Good morning, Uganda. I hope you are holding up well. We are here to make sure that we keep you informed, inspire you this morning and this very day. On set, I am not alone. I am with Joram Sonko and Olive Kanajuma will be taking you all the way till the hour of
hard. Today was the boy child being left behind as we empower the girl child. Now, many of you had opinions to share, and some of them we weren't able to read them at that time. But I would like to go through them first, then we can delve into today's traffic updates. Now, Ahmed from Entebbe said, "Good morning, UBC. The boy child issue needs to be taken into the utmost urgency as we emphasize on girl child, boy child. When we grow up, it becomes, the boy child becomes a breadwinner in our culture. But I'm seeing this now that boys are becoming less responsible, hence causing problems to their spouses. They can't afford necessary things, which results into domestic violence, even fear to marry nowadays. Let's put these two genders on a round table to make tomorrow a better society." And this one says, "Hello, good morning." He's Robert. He says good morning, and he says he's Ochen. He says, "I think and have been seeing for years, government, independent bodies and communities are a bit silent about what concerns male children. For example, many male children are being defiled, but you don't see the victims brought to book." That's really sad. Now, this next message is from Bolamo Bill Joseph, and he's a UCU student of social work and social administration. He says it's quite funny that the campaign to uplift the girl child only left the boy child shambling behind, all in the sense of equality, hence no equilibrium or balance. And with the change of generations, shifts men have now become vulnerable to, and there is need for a realization that they need assistance too. A boy child's parents should realize the most appropriate way to create balance between daughters and their sons, because even statistically men have the highest number of suicides basically from depression, because they can't speak to anyone because they are men. And moving on, this one says, "I have liked the discussion. We hurried to implement things without carrying out thorough research. Everywhere people were sounding drums of girl child, and now things are backfiring. The boy child was denied support in education, and yet no girl may accept to marry an illiterate boy when she is highly educated. I have not heard of a girl robbing at gunpoint, and yet boys have to do that to put food on the table. However, however much a woman earns more than a man is pushed to the wall to provide shelter, food, among others, for the family, while the woman says her money is for her people. Girl child's wholesome support has led to the growth of single mothers because
as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
The National Liberation Day, held on the 26th of January every year, marks the overthrow of the previous government by the National Resistance Movement /Army in 1986. The theme for the 38th NRA Victory Day anniversary celebrations is Building a Country We All Cherish. On Friday the 26th of January 2024, all roads will lead to St. John's Secondary School Wachitaka in Jinja City, Church of Uganda grounds for the anniversary celebrations. Don't miss the celebrations live on UBC.
Well, welcome everyone to the biggest game on the continent.
And you have to. You've got to just seize those moments and enjoy them as much as you possibly can.
Good morning and thank you so much for being with us on UBC. Happy NRA anniversary. You know, most of the times we say happy this, but today it is week and greet saying happy NRA anniversary. I'm Robert Chirabonyonitono. Today is a public holiday, and in case you're home and wondering why have I not gone to work? Why is it a public holiday? Well, it is 38 years back that the NRM captured power and led to the transformation that we are seeing as a country. Now, this year's celebrations are on the theme, building a country that everyone cherishes. Now, that is the struggle. We build a country where you, me, we all cherish this country. And I have a very interesting character this morning joining me to discuss this and why you who wasn't there should celebrate. Join me, welcome Seranga Ranga Jr. You're most welcome.
Thank you, sir.
How have you been? Long time.
I've been doing well. Maybe let me take this opportunity to send my greetings to the people of Kalangala, especially those of Ujumba, where I hail from. And I also send my condolences to the family of Cecilia Ogwal. And we have also lost some people in Kalangala at a place called Chibale, and also got an accident in Kalangala. Then I wish the entire Ugandans a happy Nationalism Day.
Okay. Now, to begin with, Serwanga, when we talk about this day, to the young flocks out there that are wondering, what are we celebrating? Of course, everyone explains things differently, but I just want your perspective of why we should celebrate and what we are celebrating today?
Well, it depends from where you are standing from. But I think there is something to remember or to celebrate, if I may say. This country hasn't been the same as it was 38 years ago. I think that one is not disputable.
Yes.
There are some great changes that have been made. If I'm to look at the 10-point programs they made, me, I'm most interested in two key areas. When the NRM was coming, they promised us to give us a strong economy, or to build the economy. The question is, have they built a strong economy? I would say yes. Maybe we have not reached where we are supposed to reach, but we have done something. For example, when I'll take you back to during independence time. At the time of independence, our GDP was around $450 million. When NRM came to power, it had gone to 3 billion, roughly 4 billion. Me, I will not use the percentages, because when you use percentage growth, people do not understand it. I will say, if you 86 minus 60, those were 24 years. That means we had got an increase on average of 143 million. As of today, the same economy, the same GDP has grown to 50 billion. That is a difference of 46. What? Now the other, what I should do maybe emphasize that the key word after independence is million. Here the key word is billion. So if we are to ascertain what is the growth and development of this economy, you will see that it's around 1.2 billion. Of course, I understand with people who say, but other countries like Kenya, like Ethiopia, like Tanzania, they have, but the question is...
Even those away, because people compare these economies, GDP, most commonly with Singapore, that by 1986, we were at the same footing almost.
Okay.
Today, these guys are multiplied grossly to what we are talking about.
That is quite interesting. Whenever I hear someone bring that comparison, I ask two questions. One, are the neighbors of Singapore remained behind, or they also had the same footing with Singapore?
They aren't.
Another question is, are the neighbors of Uganda have a tremendous development? So if the measure are still at par, that means the example that has been borrowed of Singapore or Malaysia, to me it becomes a poor count. Then another question is, yes, Singapore has shoot up. The question is, in the last 38 years, what has been the political environment in Singapore?
Very peaceful.
In the last 60 years, Uganda has been...
We had a bit of wasted years after independence.
We also had another year, like 20 years, when this country, a certain region was not what? Productive. That is north.
over 20 years of non-productivity. So that means that affects what? That affects the growth of what? And the development
So
of
that's why we have moved at slow but steady.
Yeah.
Pace.
The question is, I will not look at Singapore, because when you look at Singapore, its neighbors are what? Are also at the same level with it. The development isn't that.
Yeah, there isn't those gaps.
The isn't. So we come back here in the region, at the continent. How are we performing? Kenya's GDP before at independence was doubling ours. It was $700 million. Then at in 86 it had gone to 6 billion. When ours was 3 billion. Still it was doubling us.
Yes.
Today it has gone to 110 billion. Ours is at what? 50 billion. The question is, has Kenya faced any political challenges before?
It hasn't.
It hasn't.
And even those that were there shortly after elections were sorted.
The question that was an incident. It was on a short note. The question is, why hasn't it skyrocketed like Singapore? That's now the yardstick. We have had this. Africa's got so many countries that has been peaceful. Malawi, Senegal, Tanzania. Tanzania's GDP is now at 67. It has been peaceful throughout. Why hasn't it? Why is it that it has not left us so? Why hasn't it given us a big gap? So you see, we are still where? We are still at the same level. To me, I always tell people, it's not quite easy for a country to develop as a single unit. It's easier to develop on a block or on a continental level. Yes. That's why you find that in the Asian tigers, it's not only Singapore that developed. There are others
that did develop.
Now,
Leon, with that advancement when it comes to development, which was key, building a strong economy, one of the most cherished things about NRM and the coming in 1986 is the fact of peace and tranquility. Now, as we speak today, we know at one time we had rebels, but today there are also threats in two elements. One, there's always been issues of human rights violation. Yes, those days we had extrajudicial killings, people would be picked, then all that, but we still have issues coming up to parliament of missing people. We have terrorism, people enjoying their life, living normal lives, and then radicals come and kill them in numbers. We have today sporadic shootings. Almost every VIP in Uganda either has a bodyguard. You see one person has a lead car, another one behind. Soldiers seated there as if they are going for battle, holding guns, pointing where the car is coming from. If you're driving, the guns are pointing at you. What do you make of these situations? 38 years now.
Each situation is addressed differently. What you call terrorism, that is a global problem. It's not only in Uganda alone. That is a global problem. In fact, I think the world has got two problems that are universal: unemployment and terrorism. Those are global. Then when you talk about the shooting, the what, that one I will call it gun violence. And I always hear people saying that gun violence is attributed to the political environment in Uganda because of lack of changing the apex leadership. But I don't buy that idea. Reason being, in Africa, let me go back to Africa. Gun violence is commonly high in countries that change leadership. Are you aware? Nigeria is the leading country when it comes to gun violence. The next is Kenya. The question is, do we doubt the political environment in those countries?
There's always change of leaders.
Why do they have?
But the Boko Haram are still enjoying.
I'm not talking about Boko Haram. The gun violence in Nigeria in the last 5 years had shoot to 5,000 cases over. Kenya had shoot to over 2,000 cases, including the homicide incidents took some lives of some people, like Sheikh Khan in Kenya. So gun violence is there. The question is, why is it there? People say that it's because of the political environment. Yes, I will not buy that idea, because there are countries where there is gun violence, like Swatini, where we well know that the leadership is not changed, or if it's changed, those who take over are known.
Even USA, very developed, their biggest challenge is actually gun violence. That's why even everyone has to purchase an arm if you're interested to protect yourself. And
since we are in this region, the Great Lakes region, it's very easy for the guns to get into circulation, because the northern terrain, the Horn of Africa is not stable. Sudan is not stable. Eastern Congo is not stable. The moment those regions or those areas have got violence, people accessing guns becomes so easy. And those guns entering Uganda, it also becomes what? Easy. Me, what I would do, partly blame the government on gun violence. It would have been when the guns that are used are assets of the government. The other days, the guns, there was proof that the guns being used are assets of what?
Government.
But this time, that's not how it is. Those are the guns that are got from where? From external environment. What we have to do, we have to be vigilant. I always tell people that security is not a primary role of government or people in the security circles. It's an obligation of every Ugandan. If I see Kiraba with a gun, what do I do? He's supposed to have a gun. Our women know that we have guns. Our women know, our wives know that we are not security people, but they keep quiet. They will only report when there is a misunderstanding at home. That's when you hear Kiraba has a gun. Then for us who are the spectators, we start saying she's escaping from something. Why is she reporting today?
All the time they've been together.
She's playing false. Those are the things we go on. Yet in actual sense, she could be telling the truth. But the question is, for all this long, what has she been waiting for? So, the issue of people Uganda has got cases in the last 5 years. Uganda had 1,000, slightly over 1,000 cases of gun violence. Then people will tell you, I always hear people saying that the cases are investigated, but they are not what?
Concluded.
We are not concluded. At times I laugh because the beauty about Uganda, people get these platforms, they speak a lot of politics. Which country do you know that has the most investigative arm in the world?
Is it the United Kingdom?
United Kingdom, Scotland, Spain, France, America. Let me go to United Kingdom. Are you aware that United Kingdom has unsettled cases of murder? The bicycle murderers, up to now, they are still looking who were killing people using the bicycles. Scotland has got Scotland Yard Police.
One of the best.
They hire it. Are you aware that it has cases which are not solved? I think the latest cases of Alestia Wilson. She was a bank manager. She was gunned down 2004, if my memory serves me well, June. Up to now, they are still investigating who gunned her down. 20 years. But the population here wants you to give you someone who was gunning Pastor Bugingo in 2 weeks.
Which may not be that very easy.
Who gunned Kawesa?
Now, Seranga, that explained very well. Now, let's look at the challenge of corruption. Uganda, why some people compare it, we believe would have been very far had it not been corruption. Because much as we talk about cut a coat according to your cloth, there is so much, when we look at the Auditor General, the IG's report, there is so much lost in corruption that would build us the roads we desire, the flyover, reasonable flyovers, that would put medicine in hospital. But corruption seems to be growing. In these 38 years, you've been giving statistics. If you could give those of corruption, the truth is corruption is not decreasing, but increasing. It has become our bread and butter. And people ask themselves, you have the law, you have the institutions, what is lacking? And sometimes they ask themselves, even when you arrest those that are arrested, they ask, but where's the big fish? Recently I was having someone, we were discussing about corruption, and I asked him of the big fish. The big fish majority he mentioned are out on prerogative of mercy, which is a constitutional right, it is okay. But still questionable if you're going to ask.
Like who is out to be?
Jamwa, Jimwe Ramafa. This would be the big fish. That you would say, but we have so and so. Which is okay. But you sometimes, certain things that are legally right may have moral issues with that. So I want you to throw more light on this.
You have tickled me when you talk of Jamwa. Ramafa, I can agree with you, but Jamwa, I think we didn't understand his case. So, because I don't know whether Ugandans do ask themselves or whether they know that Jamwa is one of, if not the first, among the top 2 MDs that are most loved by NSSF employees. Jamwa, among the personnel, the MDs that have been at workers' house or in that fund, Jamwa doesn't exceed position 3. among the most loved MPs, I mean MDs within
NSSF
employees. The question is why? Me, I try to read the case of Jamwa. The things they accused him, most of them were bearable. But I will not talk about Jamwa as alone. Okay, I'm also among those people who think that we have not done well when it comes to handling corruption. We have to do better. We have to do what? Better. The problem I find with the Ugandans, we tend to think it's government officials who are just corrupt. To the best of my knowledge, government has tried to put the infrastructure which can handle what? Corruption. But it's us, it's the citizens of Uganda who have betrayed the Uganda we love. One, corruption is not only in government institutions. I don't know who audits the private sector. If it's there, one of these two things are happening. Is either on leave or asleep. I see these NGOs which corruption. You find out what they do. They are more corrupt than us. Two, I don't know, maybe you'll advise me. I don't know whether the market pool, the human resource pool, where government pools its human resource, is different from that where the private sector pools. But I think they go in the same what? Market. Then they pool the resources. I will not be among those ones who believe that the government recruits corrupt personnel, then the private sector recruits the uncorrupt. I don't associate to that word, to that belief. People, whether in government or in private, we are all corrupt.
That, no doubt about it, but Serwanga, let's look at the fact that the private sector, if you employ corrupt people, your business is going to fall. For a government, we are having either taxpayers' money, donor money, loans, and even the monies. Just look at how many ministries we have. If every ministry, we have monies about $1 billion being lost. How much is that? So government has so much money, maybe compared to the private sector, and the impact of the loss. Someone, you talk about Gavi Fund, you know, how much money. Recently you saw the iron sheet saga. No, sheet's supposed to be somewhere, karimukubi can't. As if cows are more precious than human beings. You know, when you look at the Auditor General's report and see how much money is lost every year, it is almost over 10% of our budget. Now just imagine if you have a budget of maybe 59 point something trillion, and 10% of that budget is just going to be lost. You see how people are using real estate. That is, there are even unheard of things. Thieves rob in a house. I'm not saying this was corrupted money, but you have banks and you have a 2.2 something. So government officials,
you see, Chirabo,
you know,
you people of the media, you have done us a disservice. At times you misrepresent information. Let me go straight to your point of people putting money in your houses. You people in journalism, there is what you call causation correlational effect. That simply because A comes before B does not mean that A influences B. The effects at point B could be at point Z or angle XY.
Don't be a devil's advocate.
First wait. I'm not being a devil's advocate. I appreciate a fact that our economic monitoring structures are still weak. Good. However, it's not necessarily true that whatever amount of money in huge sums that is found in someone's house is from where? Government. One, government does not pay by cash. It pays either by EFT or check. The question is, where would Chirabo get 500 million into his house? That means such a transaction, common sense dictates that such a transaction is from private sector. People make deals, and because of our economic monitoring system is weak, they make deals, private sector pays in hard cash, they negotiate, because the payee and the payer will be escaping what? Revenue. Because of this transaction.
Neither can they keep this money in the bank. Sources are going to be questionable.
Sources are going to be questionable. And another thing, even if the sources are there, taxes are going to what? You have heard the politicians saying, I kept this money into the house because I was dodging revenue. So it's not necessarily true that every amount of huge money found in houses is what? Unless you are telling me that the private sector, when it's paying its transactions, it's by either
EFT
by bank, through bank. But when our monitoring system is still weak, the private sector takes that loophole. Someone sells a house, he says, don't put my money on the account, bring it here. So when a house boy steals it or made, for you to say it has been stolen, that was government money. No, that's not true. Two, you talked about have the big fish and not touching the big fish. You know, criminals tend to be smart. As you put internal controls, they also go ahead to do what? To see how to manipulate those.
How to beat these systems.
The systems. How to manipulate those internal controls. So I think we should change the approach. I personally, even if Auditor General is there, I will support him. I will tell him that, mister, change the approach. But that means we have to change the law. This business of monitoring or following after expenditures have been made does not save Uganda anyway. The best would be, as money has been put on the account of, say, of UBC, that's when the process of monitoring and ensuring that these funds are effectively and efficiently utilized start. But this business of fast spending, and then we start to look out what went wrong, who did this, to me does not add up. What? Of course, that does not mean that Uganda is the only corrupt country. All countries are corrupt. Are you aware?
But magnitude.
It's what that differs. When you follow current affairs and you look what's going on, when I'm on TV and I'm watching news or reading news, I see problems from different economies. Then I remember Baby Kuru's song, Minzani. Buli omu aba ne jinjali.
I just see Trump battling it out there under declaration, that evading tax and that. Now, Leon, away from corruption, that you said, well, the corrupt people are very smart, very innovative as well. Now we have the youth question. Before 1986, children were dying at a very early age and in huge numbers because of simply immunizable diseases. Today, as we speak, you'll find that those that would be dead, I want to use that, are now alive. We had one university. There are so many universities. All these churn out graduates every year. Millions hit the market. But there is unemployment. We are having quantity, a big population, which can be productive, but of less quality. If you go to some of these ghettos, some youths come out, and you're like, hey, Mary, how can we improve these ones? Even with the presidential commitments here and there, ghetto fund, that damaged beyond repair. Damaged beyond repair. May even ask which year are we in, or week off the planet. Now, that I would call failure to manage success or challenges of managing success. 38 years, this problem seems not to be reducing, but growing. And sometimes I ask myself, the generation coming after us, if these make the majority, where will Uganda ever be?
Now, you have highlighted two issues, which in the end give a plus to the sitting government. So first put a plus that today the death rate reduced, whereby children now can survive. You have also put another plus that it's no longer a one university, Makerere University. There are now many. And that means human capital development. Before we get to the quality, but that is what? Human capital development.
Not put to use.
The countries we all adore, the first country you mentioned two here was Singapore. Lee Kuan Yew first invested in human capital. You know, in economics we say the most important factor of production is human capital. Because it drives all other factors. So when the country has got an educated human resource, well and good, it's very better than one that has got an illiterate what? Human resource. Two, we go to the quality. I'm one of those people who are impressed on the change of curriculums.
Because that's what I was going to ask you, that what use is it of having educated people who are unemployable and are not adding? They are more of a problem than illiterate ones.
Yeah. You know, it's not necessarily true that Uganda's human resource isn't employable. We have always said we have the best doctors. We have always said we have the best teachers. That's me, the school I went to, we had Tanzanians, Rwandese, and Kenyans. they were flocking here. Why? Up to now, they still come. That is one of an indication that our education system is better than theirs. Otherwise, they would not be coming here. Then, but that does not mean that we shouldn't improve. We should improve on the quality. You know, in some countries, like, let me borrow this example from Germany, because I understand it best. Much of the efforts are put on technical skills. That's the highest they have. Now we have to reverse our what? Our perception. For us, we prefer having these degrees.
And if you told a child that you're not going for university, you're going for vocational
so we should change.
Education. Even the public, what? You lacked money? Are they poor results?
Because by the
why are you taking the child?
For us, during the times we grew up, people going to technical institutions would be rated as people who failed.
Yes. Or money, they're not sure of.
Or they are not sure money, which isn't the case. In fact, those are the people that who are the pillars of the what? Of an economy. Those guys, the mechanics, the plumbers, those ones.
The job creators, not job seekers.
They are job creators, and they drive the economy.
Yes.
So that's where we should change. And I think it's yesterday we would have changed.
Maybe just, sorry to cut you short, I must remind our viewer that our team is already in Jinja City, and anytime we'll be having a live feed coming there from Wakitaka, from St. John's Wakitaka Senior Secondary School, where I expect His Excellency to be the guest of honor. Our own Sonko is there, and of course with the entire team, and he will be giving you updates, how far have the people started, the preparation, and of course more later, the speeches regarding Uganda 38 years of peace since the NRM government took power. I'm still with Serangaranga Jr., and we are discussing our journey, the challenges we've had, and then we want to see how best should we move forward as a country, more so at a time when we are so divided by our politics. If you look at the first decade after NRM had taken power, it was agreed, let's be in the movement system. And there it was all about objectivity, coming and working together. Now we went into multi-party dispensation, and things stand because I may call yellow green because I'm for green. I may call water wine because that's what my party says, and a few divisions that have come along. How do we move forward in the given dynamics, the political arena? When you look at issues of wealth, we have some people who are now more wealthier. When we talk about actually our politics today, it is very hard, to be honest. I don't know what Seranga's side of viewing this is, but for a poor person to win an election today in Uganda. So that is how we've fallen. That I would look at your views and I'm like, yes, but then what are you doing as far as giving me something to take home? Now with these dynamics, Leon, how do we move forward as a people of Uganda?
I think we went into party politics before we had understood what it is. And by the way, there are two districts which declare, which didn't support the idea of going to into party politics. It was Kampala and Kalanga, my district. For us, we didn't support party politics. People in Kalanga didn't support, people in Kampala didn't support. we thought we had not matured into engaging into what? Party politics. But since the Europeans wanted us to do, we obeyed. Either out of ignorance or out of excitement. We what? We obeyed. Now, you have said that it requires some resources for someone to win an election. The voters have turned into asking candidates funds and what? I'm one person who think that we have to reduce on the administration cost.
As in numbers of people in politics
and the units,
or amount of money people are getting?
First of all, reduce the units. The elective positions are so many in Uganda.
Very true.
Me, I don't buy this idea of demarcating districts. I think people should not represent locality, but they should represent the population, those who vote. You find someone, his constituency is of a radius of, say, 20 kilometers, with a population of 6,000 people. Or a district of 60,000 people, emitwalo mukaaga, having 3 MPs. That one I don't buy it. We have to, I think we should reduce.
You're looking at proximity, and we believe proximity reflects also proper representation and service delivery.
Yes.
The more a leader is close to us, the more our services.
Partly I will agree with you that when you create
falsification.
When you create districts, they come with certain benefits or certain advantages. But
assumably, by the way, because I've come to understand that this representation is sometimes falsification.
Yeah,
you find people asking their member, you know, asking, and they are one, and we're not seeing the service delivery in comparison to these so many representations. Almost every after 7 houses, you have either chairman, LC1, then you have a councillor, then you have.
When you fail to do your part, when you have a task to do, and you fail to do it, you do not accuse or blame someone who did his. I don't buy that narrative. When you choose or when you elect a leader at any position, you have to ask yourself, have you elected a representative or a delegate? The two are different. A member of parliament is a representative. He's not a delegate. You will ask a delegate, why did you say what you said? Because he has moved from what you delegated him, what you sent him to do. A member of parliament, he represents your views. His views could be your views. In fact, I don't believe in a notion of electing people who should be led. I always hear those things in the villages there. We are going to vote Chirabo because he buries. Because you ask someone, why are you supporting Chirabo? Azika. Then you are in party primaries. You are supporting Chirabo because Azika abeera kumbaga. Then I tend to ask them myself. Then I ask them that's how you have reached. What baffles me that sometimes they are leaders who are saying such things. Then I ask them, you are NRM. you were supporting Chirabo of NRM because Azika. Then I pose a question. What if NUP, FDC, ODP brings someone, another candidate, who buries and appears on those functions more than your candidate? What will you tell people? Bali balesa asinga okuziika asinga owamu okuziika kati ogenda bagamba ki
nentana asima.
What are you going to tell people? Can't you find a yardstick that you can base on to select your leaders? Are you aware that in Uganda here, we no longer produce the likes of Kyanju, Haji Hussein Kyanju,
the late,
the likes of Abu Mayanja, Onkanji.
Still, all those are gone. May their souls rest in eternal peace.
We have come to the status. I'm not going to mention the names, but you know them. That's the level we have.
A number of drama kings, I must say.
What surprises me, or what amuses me, is that when you are traversing those constituencies, they will tell you, the voters will tell you, this one is the best candidate, but we are going to vote his Sunday. So that's why I say that when someone does his job and they fail to do yours, do not accuse the other one who has what? I always hear it in politicians when they are addressing that Parliament, they accuse the executive to have what? Influenced them. Then I ask myself, the executive has done its part. You are afraid to do your part. Why do you blame it? Has it coerced you? Then they say, we are bribed. The executive.
Yes, we are bribed. There is money in that August house, allegedly.
If you are a political party and you scout people who do not have a backbone, who do not have mugongo in Uganda, that's what we say, who are corruptible, whom do you blame?
But also corrupting them is not a good tendency.
Corrupting
he
them
who
on
gives
what?
and he who takes are both, if at all the alleged issues of being corrupted, a promised sweeter,
you have a
greener pastures to...
I know you have a wife.
A beautiful one.
If you find him with another man, whom do you blame? The man or the wife?
The wife. She's not sticking to her promises.
Why are you not? Very good. Very good.
But also, why would you come for my wife when you know she's my wife?
Mine is there to what? She attracted me. And mine is there to what? To approach her. Every man is there to approach a woman. Every woman is there to be approached by a man. So he's in politics. Every political party is there to attract, to hit the other side.
But there's unhealth competition.
Which health competition?
Unhealth competition.
How unhealthy is it?
Certain things that are not ethically right, that do not build a conducive environment. I don't want to go deep into that today. I'll have you for that. I'll have you for that. We are still looking at 38 years of NRM NRA, where the main celebrations for the anniversary are going to be at St. John's Wa Kitaka Senior Secondary School, and Joram Paul Sonko is there with Robert Onyango and a mighty team to ensure that they give you all the updates as they unfold. We will be moving there later on in this program for you to have a feel, for you to look at the organization and what you should expect. And above all, also the state of the speeches that various guests will be talking about or telling you more about that. Not forgetting that His Excellency is expected to be the chief guest. Now, 38 years, human rights violation. Of course, those that were there will tell you there was gross human rights violation. But you quoted Bebe Cool, and I want to quote also another musician, artist, known as Ronald Mainja. He has a song called Bizem, Mosei Bizem, Ebyabarwanya Baliyone Bizem. Now, when you look at, there were times of the drone, then we see missing people, allegedly missing people. We talk about the international community castigating us here and there. I was listening to His Excellency at the opening of the G77 plus China summit at Speak Resort Munyonyo. When it came to the issue of human rights, he said there should be objectivity when it comes to issues of human rights, and we avoid politicizing them. Now, today, we seem, in terms of world or global rankings, our human rights record is not doing that very well.
Now, give me 1 minute. I conclude on the other point of politics, of elective members. Why am I an advocate of reducing, sizing down the elective positions? I think it will also come with the sizing down the remunerations.
To make politics less attractive.
Less attractive.
People invest. You sell
that business. That business of going to politics, and I wonder. In fact, you know, I have a friend called Honorable Abedi Bwanika. We nicknamed him as Garashians.
The veterinary doctor.
Because he says in the Bible, Corinthians, I think it's chapter 3, verse 1. There's what we call you foolish Galatians, who bewitched you.
Yes.
You always use that thing. So I also tend to ask myself, who bewitched Ugandans? Why would someone first give you money to give him a vote? Now remember, in 94, 93, that's when CA, that's when I started following
politics.
And I attended all the rallies that were put at my area, Bumanji playground. The candidates came there and they spoke. And it so happened that 3 of them I was related to them, but I could say that I would go with Professor Muyanda Mutebi. He spoke, was parliament, what, he spoke so many things. So,
in my area, the story was different. Because actually people never knew what they were voting for. You know, it was called Bagenda Kole Bagolia Semateka. But even the word bago, many never understood what it was. Now, we had a lawyer in my area, I think it was called Sengendo. We had a bush war hero, it was called Abe Mukwaya, and others were Dr. Mutesasira. Now, people were saying, the lawyer was telling them, you people, we are going to handle issues of law. Coming up with a constitution. Now, they were saying, Tulekeya run. Ate tulondo no simanya agenda okola amateeka. So even initially, people are not even understanding what they are going to vote. And everyone was like, no, for us we are going with. But the man was telling them, please, I'm the right candidate. Because I understand this better. I don't even talk about, for us we want this one.
So you see the genesis, that's how it is now. Even today we experience those challenges. People will leave a credible candidate and jump bandwagonly with another candidate. So I think we have to reduce the administrative units. Are so many. That will also help us to channel that would be money spent on such things, I think we are not doing good. I'm one of those who say, let the administrative units be what?
Reduced.
Then we go to the one of human rights, what we are talking of. Human rights, yes, we are not we are not doing well. It's not all alpha and omega. But two things do happen at times. Either, you know, the Uganda's media, I'm one of those who say that it's letting us down. You do much of reported journalism. What Lumaga said, what Serwanga said is what you report. Less is put into investigative what? Journalism. About missing people, yes, there are people who could be in the hands of the state. The question is, how do they reach the hands of the state? Two, at times we want to support those such causes, but we find some, should I call them some, what can I use? Some elements which shouldn't be there. And I mean, when I see an element which should be among your elements, I put what? Down. I can give you an example. When the lists of missing people come, are you aware that they are names of people who are not missing? True or false? The last list which was released had 25 people. There was Yusuf Kayima. He was serial number 20. Sometimes he calls himself Omuyayo wa Bobby. Honorable Bobby Wine came back. Was it 50th?
I'm not very certain of the dates.
50th. Omuyaye wa Bobby Kayima.
Are you getting me? Okay.
You're the Deputy CDF. We welcome you. We are blessed by your presence. The Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament, please accept our condolences at the death of the Honorable Member of Parliament, Honorable Cecilia Ogwal. Now we are going to have cultural performances.
The people claiming for these people, or claim to fight for these people, should also do some due diligence.
Okay, yes.
I should not come and tell you my husband is not around, he was taken by this drone, and you just jump bandwagon on what? On the claim. First do some due what? Diligence.
We can't rule out the element of politicization at such a time.
The moment such things are seen, someone will ask you, now I've seen it too, which I know. how many are there? Chances are high that they are there. For us, we say.
And I remember the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, Justice Wangadia, came out and said that some of these, we're also finding it hard to locate them and kind of wondering if really it is what we are seeing. But we've seen journalists, we've witnessed some being manhandled, we've seen sometimes riots, sometimes we've seen a number of certain, even away from these that are making headlines over
are
missing.
You journalist?
I am.
Have you ever been beaten?
I have ever.
Why?
Well, I think the images I was capturing were not friendly to those.
They told you don't capture, you continued. True, false?
Do you know my mandate?
True, false?
Well, the band is getting prepared and everything seems to be set for the 38th NRA anniversary celebrations in Jinja City. That is at St. John's Senior Secondary School, Wakitaka. And like I told you earlier, that we shall be moving there for you to be able to follow events as they will be unfolding. Anytime from now, we'll be moving to Jinja City, and I'll be letting my guest, that is Seranga Ranga Jr., and then I'll be handing you over to the people there so that we follow events as they unfold. Remember, His Excellency is expected to grace this function as the chief guest. And our cameras are everywhere in Jinja City. Throughout the night, we've been there just ensuring that our viewer gets the best of this event as it unfolds. Leon, soon we are going to be moving out of here. So let's summarize.
So I was telling you that the problem in Uganda, people think are entitled on everything, including you journalists. What I know, I don't know whether it's how can I tell you, is it a practice or a theory? There is where I read it, where I read and I was told that journalists believe that any story which puts your life in danger is not worth covering.
As we summarize, let's end with issues of liberation. Yes, we've talked about the human rights, we've talked about so much. Our viewers have been looking at the challenges in these 38 years that have come up. But let's now end with the benefits that Ugandans can look up to and say 38 years have been worth a living.
One is stability unquestionable.
Definitely not.
I think we have been relatively stable. That is a benefit. The economy has doubled tremendously. By the time the NRM government came here, government could not borrow locally. Now they can. That is an indication that the economy is doing well. That is an indicator. Much as there are those voices which will say that, but again it will increase the what? The interest rate because the private sector is competing with the government, but there was a time when it wouldn't what? Two, the economy is doing well that there was a time when basic necessities were never found here. It was a tug of war to have them. Today, because I remember when I was growing, when they used to say pinted milk was what? Was from Kenya. Okay.
Well, let me just remind our viewers that anytime I'll be linking to Joram Paul Sonko, he is at the venue and he will be giving us more of what is happening there. Joram Paul Sonko, anytime from now, we'll be having him. Yes, I can see a Sonko with Robert Onyango getting prepared to tell us what is happening. Morning, Sonko, and please give us an update.
For joining us on this fruitful day of the 26th of January 2024. I am Joram Paul Sonko and I'm reporting live from St. John's, a Church of Uganda, Wachitaka, here for UBC. As we continue inspiring Ugandans, this time round we are celebrating 38 years of the NRM government. And of course, the NRM/A celebrations or anniversary is coming to you live from your national broadcaster. Ours is to make sure that we bring you the details of what is happening here, and it's exactly a time when you get to realize that the background noise is pretty much filled with the celebrations from the people of Jinja who are hosting us for this particular Friday of the celebrations. This new year, the NRM government, as it's pursuing its entire agenda of seeing stable growth, wealth creation, and ensuring that the country moves forward, you get to realize that the theme for this year's celebration is building a nation or a country we all cherish. So building a country we all cherish, that means we look at the core values of the NRM government back from the time of its journey into power in 1986, going back to security, and then also identifying the element of making sure that the Ugandans themselves get into sync with the wealth creation and creating room for sustainable growth. And of course, as we move forward, we shall as well be getting in touch with different dignitaries here, ministers, and of course the other organizers of the day. The celebrations are in Jinja, and of course for the people in Jinja, thank you very much for hosting us this very morning. And like I did mention, as we await for more arrivals, just to let you know as well, we did earlier on receive the Deputy Prime Minister, that is Right Honorable Thomas Tayewa. We also have Millie Babalanda, Minister for Presidency, and then we shall as well be getting an address, or we shall be getting into an interaction with the UPDF spokesperson, Brigadier Felix Kulaije, who's going to be taking us through the details to do with the program today, as we get to understand more of what to expect today. But then also the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Her Excellency Jessica Alupo, has just arrived here at the playgrounds of St. John's Church of Uganda, Wachitaka. And well, she has as well been received. And as we get back into our conversations this morning, now we are getting to the UPDF spokesperson, that is Brigadier Felix Kulaije, who is going to take us through details when it comes to how far the program is going to be, and also keeping up or letting us know of what the program is. So let's get into it. A very good morning, Brigadier. Many thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Good morning, and a happy anniversary to the NRM government.
No. Don't misrepresent facts. This is not anniversary of government. This is Liberation Day.
For the
NRM Liberation Day, meaning the NRM movement which fought to liberate the country. What you are congratulating is the NRM party which is in power. Okay. The two are different.
Okay.
Yes.
And I thank you for the facts.
Yes.
Taking us through the details of today's program. What should we expect as of today, and what should the viewers know?